Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
Sean Bell.
Hello.
No James Farley, but we've got Sarah Dyer back. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm drinking a WKD Blue that my housemate got me for my birthday.
Look at that.
She got me a whole...
You can still find them.
She got me a whole box of them.
I was going to say, not just one bottle. That would be...
No. She got me a whole box, and she was like, "Look, it's got Love Island on it." And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh wow, they're branding.
It's a bit of subject at the moment.
They've got like
That's
a
a
whole...
bit of subject, Love Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're currently fighting with Love Island, aren't we? We're currently battling.
Beefing with them.
In the charts, in the podcast charts with Love Island. They seem to be
two
one
plucky
step ahead.
upstarts battling out in the
I
charts.
I know. It's frustrating, isn't it? Did you say you received them for your birthday?
Yeah.
We forgot your birthday. Is that today?
No, it was a month ago.
Oh, right, that's okay.
Yeah, I think we should be recording on her birthday.
Whoa.
So you're not busy tonight, are you?
We all have, haven't we? Oh, no, I haven't. But it was a month ago. How have you kept a box of WKD Blue for a month? Surely you do them all in one night down the park, right? In the David Lloyd's.
Torpedo all night long.
Yeah.
All the times that I've been out and got really, really, really drunk since I got the box, I've not been at home.
Got the box. Oh, yeah.
You know.
So you haven't had the chance to smash them?
No, obviously, I did think about bringing some of them to TCGS Con, and then I realised that I had far too much other stuff to bring with me, and I was like, I'm not bringing. I was like, I don't
Taking
need it.
It's carrying that on that mega bus. Handing them out to the nuns.
Well, also, did one of your cans leak as it was?
Yeah, that was it. When we finally got to Sheffield, I went to get my suitcase out from underneath the coach, and I was like, oh, it's wet. Why is it wet?
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but I kind of unzipped my suitcase to find out what was going on, and also because there was a can of Red Bull in my suitcase that I was going to have for when we got to Sheffield to just kind of like recharge a little bit. But I don't know what had happened. Something had clearly pierced enough of the suitcase and into, or maybe it was something in the suitcase. There was a hole in the can of Red Bull, and a lot of it had leaked out into my suitcase.
I felt so bad for you when you found that out. I that is like my worst nightmare. Just having a drink like that over all of my clothes. I don't know if I'd be able to recover from that.
Just don't bring your katana with you. That's fine.
Yeah, clearly someone had just been like stabbing suitcases or something. That was what it looked like. The like hole in it.
I bet it was the nuns. I bet it was one of the nuns.
Yeah, probably.
I think. Because I was just like, well, I guess this is just the thing that's happened. But there was still Red Bull left in the can. So we were walking through, I think it was through Meadowhall, and I was drinking it out of the hole that had been pierced. Because I think at that point, I was just like, I've been on this coach for 6 hours. Yeah. Potentially all of my clothes are covered in Red Bull. I just had to like go with it. I think if I got upset with it, it would have been a full-on complete breakdown. So I was just like, well, I guess this is just a thing. I guess I'll just drink what's left in the can and we'll figure it out later. But luckily, because I brought like a towel and laid that over my clothes before I'd put like toiletries and my hairdryer and stuff. I think that protected everything, and there was like a couple of t-shirts which were like a little bit wet, but that was it pretty much, so it was fine.
Can you imagine if like all weekend you were getting compliments about how nice you smelled?
And it was just, just Red Bull.
Well, I guess that's it. Now I'm the woman who soaked herself in Red Bull for a night out.
I'm gonna spray Red Bull there.
Going on a date
into a little bottle and then start spraying it on.
That's how you attract all the. It's like pheromones for gamer boys.
Yeah.
It's just Red Bull.
Odor wings.
I have got a question for you about that weekend. You've got to tell me. How was your James Farley experience?
Oh, he's the best.
He really is, isn't he?
He is.
He sort of sits there huffing away and tutting and shaking his head and rolling his eyes. And there's nothing better, is there?
No,
There's absolutely nothing better.
He seemed in a really good mood for most of it.
He was in a better mood than he usually is, I think. Yeah.
He was just sat behind us playing his Sonic, having a lovely time.
Loving that Master System version of Sonic. Yeah, he's loving it.
Making friends. Oh no, wait, it was you that made the friend.
No, here's what happened there. Right, some guy just started chatting to us while we were waiting for the next coach to turn up, and he was saying some really weird stuff, Sean. Very bizarre stuff. I can't remember what he was saying, just some really weird stuff. Yeah. But because James was the first one to say, "You've made a friend," that was it. He was my friend for the whole trip. And I just thought, he was talking to all three of us, James.
He was your friend until he found the girl on the coach that he could go and smoke weed with, and then he forgot we existed.
Again, one of the nuns. I mean, that's a joke we could say throughout the whole thing. But yeah, no, James Farley's the absolute best. I'm glad you got to finally experience him. Shall we get on to the Patreon producers for this month? Let's read out the full Nels crew. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Happy Birthday Sam and Neil, Gabsy, Rocketman76, Rex Reese, Happy New Year Sam, love from Neil, Grey Dragon Claw, Fred Fenge, Smooth Monkey, Happy Mother's Day Sam, love from Dr. Farley's Sexy Fan, Don Whiskerando. No! Don Whiskerando. No! Do you know what happened then? I was getting nervous as I was coming up to it.
My God.
Don Whiskerando, friend of the show, Sam, Justin Smith, Colin Smith, the Pond Skater, Philip Powell, and Richard Sawyer. They are the Full Nels crew, and we love each and every one of them. You can go Full Nels by going to patreon.com/TCGS, or you could sign up to various different tiers. There's been a little bit of a change, a little bit of a boost to the first two tiers, isn't there? So the £4.50 and above, they get the bonus show, but they also get Marvel calls a week early, right?
Mm-hmm. Facts. It's not the first two tiers because there was actually a £2 tier, but tiers.
Oh right, okay. So that's the £4.50 tier, right?
Yeah.
The next tier up, they get the video version of the bonus show.
That is correct.
That's correct, right?
That is correct.
So there you go. So if you enjoy the bonus show so much you want to see the video version of it, just pop up a tier. Just pop up a tier.
That's something we started this month. So we've wanted to do more of this kind of video stuff for a while, and so yeah, we recorded the bonus show on video, and we'll be doing that moving forward for every opportunity we can get, which is, we think every month would be fine, but there's the odd occasion maybe where we can't do it, but the plan is every month the bonus show will be on video for you £8.50 and above patrons, and £4.50 and above patrons still get the audio podcast as usual. Nothing's changed there. But yeah, if you want to watch the video, there's a tier for that.
Crucially, we're not going to be like, oh, here's a visual gag for the £8.50 crew.
No, but maybe we should start doing that, because that's business. That is business.
Just wear different hats.
That's true. That's
and
good.
just at different points, just
maybe
change
we should
hats.
just be a fancy dress. Yeah, and just never reference it.
Yeah.
Yes, even better.
That's not bad. That's not a bad shout.
But, on the Marvel calls thing, I know we've had a bunch of people like questioning where they are and what. But just to clarify, if you're on the £4.50 tier, both Marvel calls a week early and the Patreon bonus show are on the same feed. Patreon pages only get one RSS feed, so they're all there on one feed. So don't be confused if a Marvel calls pops in and a bonus show pops in. They're all there. I've also put up a post on Patreon that explains how to add like a password protected feed to all various podcast players and apps. So go there if you're having difficulty or if it hasn't updated. All the information should be on our Patreon page.
Go there. Don't get in touch with me, mate. All right, we've already set it up. Just go there. Also, we've got a bit of an announcement this week, haven't we, Matt? Who wants to take this? Because this is quite big for us, I think.
Could be.
You can take it. You've started it.
Yes.
Okay. So from next week, the Computer Game Show podcast is going live on Twitch. Now, if you just want to listen to the podcast, there's no change there. The Computer Game Show podcast will come out every Wednesday morning, as it has done for the past 6 years. What we will be doing, though, is live streaming these recordings. So whenever we record an episode, we record on Monday nights from 8:30. and from now on, that will be live on Twitch. You'll get to, we've done it for our 300th show.
Yeah,
we've done it a few times for special occasions in the past, but this is going to be a weekly thing now on Twitch, 8:30 p.m. UK time. So it's British summertime at the moment. That we're going to be doing it on Twitch, Matt.
We are
doing it on Twitch.
We're pivoting to video, like with Vice in 2011. But we are doing
Sean
it again.
wants to say something.
No, I was going to say it probably won't be 8:30 on the dot because that's when we all get online, and then it'll be like.
I mean, it will be there or thereabouts.
Or maybe you could get online a little bit earlier. And then be ready to go at 8:30. That's novel idea.
Ideal world, Sarah. You know what I mean? But when you've got the kids screaming off, kicking off,
Yep.
You've got the kids kicking off, you want to go, fucking hell, got big kids. Oh my God, Daddy's got a podcast to do, hasn't he?
That's basically how it works, yeah.
I mean, that is literally the problem, like, because New always goes to gym on Monday nights, so I'm doing solo bedtime, and there's been times where it's like 8:30, and I'm like, he's just gone to sleep. Can I just have a wee and some silence for 10 minutes before I join?
We'll work it out. It'll be fine. We're going live from next week. Keep an eye on our socials. They'll let you know when we're live, but look out for us Monday nights every week on twitch.tv/TCGS Co. That's TCGS Co. Big news. That's it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
I mean, and obviously, again, we're not gonna. It's not going to change like the regular podcast, but obviously those of you who did watch episode 300, obviously we'll like do some visual stuff. Like we had trailers up for the games we were talking about. I was like putting the news up on screen as James was talking about it, stuff like that. Be all right. Be nice. And you can see our faces as well. If that is a bonus to you.
If that's what you want to do, you can see our faces, can't you?
That's what you're into.
So we'll see you next week, hopefully.
And just to clarify, that is not a Patreon thing. That is just for everyone. Just in case anyone had that question, that's just live for everyone on Twitch. Yep. No Patreon or anything. That's just how it's going to work.
Right. We've had 12 minutes of bollocks. Let's get to the feedback. Let's go.
Yeah, we're going to start with Garrison Savannah. I'm glad Matt is enjoying Final Fantasy VII. It's such a great game. It came out the year after I left school, so I spent so much time playing it in my first year of uni, and I haven't gone back to it loads. Most recently, a couple of years ago on Switch. It has some amazing music. Matt mentioned he was at Cosmo Canyon last week, and the theme for that area is a total banger. Some parts of it haven't aged so well, but overall it's still amazing, and I hope Matt sticks it out to the end. I'm definitely gonna stick it out. Undoubtedly, I'm loving it. The more I play it. So,
have you made any progress since last week? Or
I can't remember. It's been a busy week. I don't think I have since. I don't think I have since Cosmo Canyon. If I have, I can't remember. It's a lot of things happened.
I've done a bit. I wasn't going to put it in what you've been playing, but I already know what you mean about like some of the mini games and stuff.
Yeah, it's awkward.
I've just done the the squatting competition.
Oh yeah, where you have to it's like three of the face buttons, and you've got to kind of do it. Once you get into a rhythm with it,
I think
that's
It's just the thing is like it's not difficult, but you're just like, why is this in the game? What purpose is this?
Wait until you get to the golden saucer.
Oh, good. Can't wait.
Especially if we're talking about music, because the Golden Saucer theme is a banger.
Yeah, the Golden Saucer is amazing. But there are further awkward mini games you've got coming your way.
Good.
It's just kind of does made in.
Old games are rubbish, aren't they? New games are much better.
Yep.
Aren't they?
It's true.
I think it's a good one, actually.
They've got more graphics and they're less annoying.
We're also launching our retro gaming podcast next week. And it's just me. It's going to be called Retro Games for You, and you just download the episode, and it's me just going, "What the fuck are you doing, man? Play new games. Listen, I'll see you next week."
I was at this weekend. We were at. There's no easy way of explaining this. We were at a boat lift. There's a boat lift near where I live. It's a really old boat lift, and it lifts boats from one river up to a canal that's like 50 meters above it, right? And there's like a little visitor centre there. And we're going to go on the boat.
Is it one of the round? It's like a big wheel.
It's not a round one, no. It's got like two like sides to it, and like one lifts and the other lower. not important.
machine.
Point is, there was a bit of an exhibition on there, and it was all like really old sort of arcade sort of amusement things. So like you put an old penny in, and it does like a little puppet show, or like some of them
Are
were
they
like
boat lift themed?
They weren't boat lift themed, no, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
Missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah. Money on the table there. And it was full of old people who were loving it. And I was saying to Nu, like, is this going to be like in 50 years? Am I going to be like, fucking hell, they've got Afterburner Climax at the boat lift. Let's fucking go.
Is that not already your reaction whenever you go to like any of these retro arcade bars?
No, because that's the whole point of going, right? I'm already expecting that, but I know what you mean, yeah, because so much of it is like, I remember this from being a child and going to like the fair or whatever and playing Street Fighter 2 and losing. But yeah, no, it's just really surreal.
Yeah, I mean, I often do wonder, like, is there going to be an age where I don't see an arcade and go, oh my god?
Yeah.
Like, am I going to be 70?
The answer's no.
Am I going to walk past the Sega Rally and go, like, I'm always going to put a pound in it?
I mean,
like, for the rest of my life. Is that how it works?
Because, like, I've been to enough, like, sort of modern arcades where, like as Sarah says, there's, like, tons of machines from the last, like, 40, 50 years or whatever. And, yeah, it does sort of reach that point where, like, you'll still be like, hey, it's Sega Rally, but I probably don't need to have another go on it.
Yes, you
absolutely do. Of course, right, of course. But if you were going back the next day, you'd play Sega Rally again.
Yeah, maybe.
So you're always going to. I walk past Sega Rally, I'm going to put a pound in.
Now. Like it's more
what
like the things that are so Dead Storm Pirates. That's always a shoe in. You ever played Dead Storm Pirates?
I've never even heard of it.
Dead Storm Pirates is the best light gun game ever made.
You really like pirates, don't you?
This was
whoa! Better than hold on, fuck off.
Go on.
Is it better? It's not better than Point Blank, is it?
Oh, Point Blank's you can't even put Point Blank in the list with all the others. It's not fair.
Yes, you can. It's a light gun game.
But it's just so much better than the rest, and it's completely different.
Right. Okay.
Anyway,
so it's too good, so it can't be. This Dead Storm Pirates the best. Like, right? Okay.
It's like how Tony Hawk isn't allowed to compete in the X Games after a certain point. They were like, look, you can be a judge, but can you stop entering because there's just no point. Like, it's just ridiculous now. That's Point Blank. What were we talking about?
I played Silent Scope the other day because I went to Arcade Club in Leeds last week and haven't played Silent Scope for a million years, and it was still awesome. Still very, very good fun.
Yep.
It's a good game. How did we get onto this?
I don't know. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Bongo Deluxe. Hi, last week I had a dream where I was in the shop and was ambushed by two feral children who jumped on and started biting my face. While frantically trying to dislodge them, I asked them where their parents were. They pointed to a changing room and cried out in unison, "In there!" The curtain pulled back to reveal David Turner trying on a swanky new dinner jacket. He was checking himself out in the mirror and was very pleased with himself. With his children still attached, I held out my hand and said, "You don't know who I am, but I know exactly who you are. Pleased to meet you." David didn't reply, but did at least shake my hand in return, all while grinning like an absolute fucking maniac. Make of that what you will. All the best, Bongo.
So Harry... Wait. Harry and Charlie were still attached to his face with their teeth while he was saying, "You don't know who I am, but I know exactly who you are."
Yes.
And then I shook his hand.
Yep.
Dreams are fucking weird, aren't they? We did this a couple of years ago. We requested all of you ever dream anything about us, the show, you must email in and let us know what happened, because I'm dying to hear those stories.
And now
that's a good one. That is a good one.
It is a good one.
I mean, I would be pleased with myself if I was in a swanky new dinner jacket.
Who wouldn't?
What's a dinner jacket, Sean?
A dinner jacket, like a... Yeah. Is it the same as a tuxedo? Probably not. I'm going to embarrass myself if I say that, aren't I?
Yeah, you can just say, "I don't know, Dave." That's fine.
Is it not just a nice jacket that... Is it not just a nice spiked suit jacket? Because when someone says dinner jacket, I think of the, like, burgundy velvet...
That's what I think about smoking jacket.
Is that a smoking jacket?
I don't think the colour or material matters. I think it's like a double-breasted tux, basically.
No, none of us fucking know. We all just say we don't know. We don't know fashion. I wear polo shirts and jeans all the time. That's That's about as far as I go. I can tell you what a polo shirt is. I don't know what a swanky new dinner jacket is.
I'm constantly wearing swanky new dinner jackets.
No, you're not. You're constantly wearing nothing, Matt. Like, that's what I'm
Only
starting to
wear a
learn
top.
about you. You love a bit of nudity.
I saw him.
right, okay.
He was wearing a suit at Develop, which was more
Yeah.
of an
there's one in the
effort.
suit.
Which was more of an effort than some people had made.
Do you remember when we went to the Games Media Britlist Award, Matt?
I do.
There's a few of us in the suits there. We looked around, everyone was in a fucking t-shirt. I just thought, I'll have a word. I know you're into games and that, but come on.
Yeah, it's a
Put
nice
fucking
I was
shirt
happy
on.
to make the effort,
nice
frankly.
I've just
Same here,
checked. A dinner jacket is just a tuxedo.
Okay. Right, okay, next.
Randy Smith. Does Sean get exhausted from the mental gymnastics he has to perform trying to justify the horniness in Bayonetta?
No, because I wasn't trying to justify it. I was just saying
Sounds
there
like
is
you're trying to
there is
bend it now.
nuance from the point of view of a pervert. So like, it's
You don't have to be like. Well, for starters, the fact that the person who's written in about this is called Randy.
true.
You don't get to judge horniness if your name is Randy. And also, just let us enjoy the horny game.
Yeah.
I
enough
call it the
it-
game's allowed now.
Yeah.
Can I put Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball back in rotation?
Yeah, because
Is that allowed?
the issue, like when
Excellent.
kind of people started turning against this sort of stuff was because that was all there was. Whereas now, like obviously pervy stuff like Lollipop Chainsaw and Dead or Alive and all of that, like that's bad if that is the only representation of women in games. But now it's so much better on the other side. We can have a little bit of horny on the side as a treat.
Wicked.
Yeah.
That's official. Sarah Dyer has now declared horny games to return. Come on.
Hell yeah.
Bring them on.
Well,
Let's
it's
do
like
it.
you say, it's like when it's
Sub
just
to that
one
service.
end of like a much wider scale that it is now. Then it's like I don't know. Plus, like so many examples where people get up in arms about characters being quote unquote censored in the West or whatever. It's like it's because she's 14, mate.
Yeah,
And-
that's
Yeah.
I've never
Xenoblade
really,
looking
at
you.
okay, all right.
That's still
so-
a no.
Yeah.
That is still very much no.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
yeah.
not.
Yeah. There are limits.
Yep.
Right, okay.
Scott, regarding the discussion about Microsoft reward type programs, there must be a benefit for developers to have their games included, but won't there be some negatives as well? Surely a bunch of people only playing a game for 5 minutes until they pop the first achievement, then quitting and never playing it again can't be good for a game's metrics. It must contribute to the argument about the percentages of players that don't complete single player games.
I'd love to know, if you're a developer and you're listening to this and you know this stuff, please let us know. You can be anonymous on the thing. Oh, people just can do it now anyway, and fuck it.
We'll never know.
But you could be anonymous. Just let us know what the advantage is of having like rewards tied to your game like that, because there must be. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it, right?
Well, it'd be games that have in-game DLC to purchase.
No, yeah, but that's what they're saying. If the vast majority of them, I suppose, even if it's the vast majority of them, they're just booting it up for 5 minutes, popping the thing, and then deleting the game.
I mean,
I suppose if a small percentage of those people go on to enjoy the game and keep playing it, then yeah,
Still works.
I suppose that's what they're going for, aren't they? The small percentages.
Yeah, exactly. Like it at the end of the day, like it boosts visibility for the game in the store. And if like normally 100 people would see your game and play it through to completion, but because of having the rewards, 200 people see it, but only maybe only out of that 20 people finish it. That's like 20 people on top of the 100. So it's still
20.
more people. It's more people seeing it. It's more people finishing it. And I would imagine. Sorry, Matt, go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, like, in terms of like the metrics, like you when looking at like the data and everything, like you would obviously probably see like a massive spike like right at the beginning, but you would take that and be like, okay, we expect that there's going to be a big spike that will then drop off after that first achievement. But as long as after that first achievement it's higher than it was before, then that's all good. So yeah,
you're playing the numbers game, aren't you?
Yeah, and you
go
probably
percentages.
expect that people will play to get that first achievement, but as long as there's more people carrying on after that, then it's all good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And as someone who was obsessed with this stuff, like there are whole YouTube channels dedicated to like guiding players through an entire game or getting, tons of achievements. There's there's subreddits about all this stuff, so you get loads of extra kind of lift with more eyes and more people talking about the game, regardless of whether they play for 5 minutes or they actually like it and play it for a lot longer. And then if you've got in-game purchasable DLC and stuff, that's another bonus on top of that.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Rad. Martin Baker. Like a good little listener, I took part in your audit from the last show. As a Flourish, I added the James Farley thumbs up gif. After this, I went to work without a thought of what the effect of James would have on my Twitter account. While at work, I felt a jolt from my watch. I glanced down at my timepieces screen and saw happy little James Farley giving me encouragement. I could not contain my laughter. Unfortunately, I was in the middle of giving a training session to a group of midwives on how to use a rapid COVID device. If that was not all, his face popped up a couple more times that morning mocking me. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, the audit went well.
Went
Did
really
you see
well.
How many people used the hashtag?
Yeah. Loads.
It was crazy. I was sitting scrolling through, liking as many of them as I could. Those of you that don't know what we're talking about, shame on you.
Tough shit.
Yeah, shame on you.
The worst. The absolute worst.
We've noted down all the ones that didn't get involved with the audit, and you let yourself down there. You let yourself down.
Yeah.
Matt's fuming.
Oh, I am livid. I am
absolutely livid.
That is it for feedback. Go to tcgs.co/dear-tcgs to leave your feedback on the show next week.
Sean.
Hello.
Time to step up to the news, my
Certainly
friend.
is, to the news plate.
Is that what it is for you?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You've got like a bat in your hand.
Yep.
And you're winding up.
Yep.
How's that work? We're doing your thing now, aren't we? No, we can't do that.
He's going to knock it out of the park, isn't he?
Oh, you're going to... I'm going to be chucking news at you, and thank God we dropped that. Go on, let's go.
Minecraft developer Mojang have done a blog post basically laying out their policy on NFTs. There's a couple of NFT stories this week. James is going to be gutted he's missed it. Basically saying that, banning their use or involvement with Minecraft completely. Quotes, to ensure that Minecraft players have a safe and inclusive experience, blockchain technologies are not permitted to be integrated inside our client and server applications, nor may Minecraft in-game content such as world skins, persona items, or other mods be utilized by blockchain technology to create a scarce digital asset. This is obviously in response to the fact that people have been sort of, making sort of custom Minecraft stuff and minting it as NFTs.
Really?
And I think obviously, it was seen as, just because of the way Minecraft works anyway, like it was potentially, like a ripe place for this stuff to flourish. So yeah, quite cool that they've just come out and said, no, absolutely not ever. It's bullshit.
Yeah, so there was a massive... I'm not sure if there's a realm thing, but there's a massive thing called NFT Worlds, which is already built in Minecraft, and now they're kicking off saying, "Well, we'll build our own thing then."
Mm-hmm.
So they're not happy because
go and do that then. I'm sure it'll be a resounding success, like all the other NFT worlds are.
It's absolutely amazing to see what the reaction to this NFT stuff is, isn't it? I mean, you had some companies trying to get involved, and a lot of companies just flat out saying, no, this is a really bad thing and we don't want to be involved with it whatsoever. It's it's been fascinating. It kind of feels like the whole pyramid scheme stuff.
Yes, 100%.
It really does feel like it's like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, like the people who are most vocal about, NFTs are the future, NFTs are amazing, it's because they've got money in them, and the more people that they bring into like the NFT ecosystem, that's more people to drive up the value of their NFTs and their investments, and more people that they can sell it to. So it's not quite technically a pyramid scheme, but it works in the same way. Like the more people they bring into it, the more money they stand to make off of it.
Yep. And a lot of people are losing a shitload of money as well. There's countless stories now of people just putting their life savings into it because they heard it was the new thing to invest in and losing the lot, and it's just genuinely just really sad.
The average selling price these days is massively low. I mean, I dabbled with crypto and I had a bit of fun playing around with it, but I don't really get the NFT thing myself.
Yeah,
but
they're kind of two different things, right? I mean, crypto seem to have had some sort of value put into it at the very least, but every time I see anything about NFTs, and I know we're going to get messages and stuff about how we don't understand it, and I get that, okay, fine. But it just seems to me like a scheme that was dreamt up by very rich people to take advantage of fame, like to turn fame into money. Like that's what I see when I see that stuff. Because the only time you ever see something sold for a lot of money is by someone with a lot of social media followers.
Yeah.
Or a lot of fame. So it's never just someone going, here's a amazing piece of art that I've made. I've sold it for millions. It doesn't seem to work like that.
There are some, just genuinely really good artists who just saw this as a way to, sell sort of digital originals, as it were. But hasn't really worked out that way, has it? Like you say, it's just been
the funniest thing is when you see people like Jimmy Fallon and I think Gwyneth Paltrow maybe on his show as well. They're both look at our apes.
Oh, that was.
I want to know how much those apes are worth now.
Paris Hilton.
Oh, was that Paris Hilton? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Hilarious.
Okay.
This is a good thing. I mean, it's such an easy kind of PR move saying, fuck NFTs, because everyone's like, yep, fuck NFTs.
Yeah. And especially, obviously, because Minecraft has such a presence in, literally in schools as well and stuff.
Yes.
I think it would be, very insipid if they were to ever start allowing this stuff.
That's exactly what they're going for, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah. Speaking of insipid...
Can you get... Is there anything NFT related in Roblox yet?
No.
It seems like it's only a matter of time, though, doesn't it?
It must be only a matter of time.
They don't give a
the
fuck.
fucking Wild West, that place.
If nothing's been publicly announced, you can bet your bottom dollar that something's been planned, and then they're like, oh, actually, maybe we shouldn't because PR wise, it's a disaster.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised if Roblox itself, whatever the name of the parent company is, does NFTs. But obviously, the weird thing with Roblox is it's a game, and then there's other games within that, and some of those companies making games within Roblox are in themselves huge companies. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they either already have or will do
and then use
NFTs.
their game to push their NFTs in it. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But then I suppose you could also argue that because of the way Roblox already works, what would NFTs add to that, right? That's just it's functionality that the game already has, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exploitation.
Well, yeah, and they do love a bit of
Roblox is definitely up there with the kind of leading metaverse platforms. So NFT is a key part of that. Really.
Yeah. So Square Enix.
I hate the fact that we say that now.
Oh no, there's a brilliant video that I watched earlier by a guy called James Watley who works for a marketing agency, and he basically kind of went viral. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm getting into this conversation. This makes me want to Anyway, he kind of went viral a little bit on Twitter, but mostly on LinkedIn because he was doing a presentation at some big marketing event. And he stood in front.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he stood in front of a screen, and it basically says the metaverse does not exist. And this talk is basically him kind of brings up all these metaverse experiences like Roblox, like Decentraland, which no one has heard of because no one plays it, and Fortnite. And he's like, these aren't metaverses; they're video games. So if you want to talk about doing experiences in the metaverse, because he also talks about some of the kind of marketing stuff that was done by KFC and Hellman's and stuff within Animal Crossing when Animal Crossing was at its peak. And he's basically saying they're not metaverses; they're video games. So if you want to do that type of experience, go ahead and do that type of experience. But it's not a metaverse; it's a video game. So just learn about video games.
This is exactly what we were talking about last week, wasn't it? Where it's like all these like spaces and metaverse things. It's like, how many times have you ever heard anyone go, "These are really good, you know? Wow, can't stop playing it." You don't hear that.
No. But then how many hours have you spent with your friends in Sea of Thieves, World of Warcraft, Fortnite, like Animal Crossing?
Point. Sean, you're the problem.
But they're not.
But
I say
mate.
they're not metaverses, are they? They're just
exactly.
like I've said before, I always feel this sort of disconnect between myself as a Quest user and the way Facebook or /Meta keep pushing, like talking about metaverse stuff, and I'm like, no, I go on and I play golf with my friends, and it is really good fun, but it's not like it's not like fuck. Well, this is it now, isn't it? This is the future. It's just one way of playing a game with friends. Like it's
exactly.
I love the difference between Ready Player One and like Walkabout Mini Golf, where we go, look, I'm up in the sky.
I don't even do that. Like my Quest is a Beat Saber machine, and that's it. Apart from when I downloaded some Jurassic World thing where you can look at a dinosaur, and just to show my mum, because my mum wanted to see what VR was like.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just field of dinosaurs. Yeah, so this guy is called Mark Venturelli, and the talk was originally advertised as the future of game design.
We are thinking of two different people.
Oh, are we?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so James is a marketing guy, and this is his talk was coming at it from a marketing agency kind of angle. And then the guy you're thinking of is a game developer in like I want to say the Philippines, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, all knows that he was he's a game developer. He was like big, which is like Brazil's indie game like festival thing. And yeah, he was doing a big talk saying the future of game design, and then it started off being called "Why NFTs Are a Nightmare," and then it kind of like, holy shit. Yeah, well done to him.
Okay.
So, Square-Enix are selling a Final Fantasy figure of Cloud Strife that you can get for $129.99, or for $159.99 it comes with a digital NFT. Which, quotes, can be enjoyed on PC or smartphone, and also you might lose it one day. That's in the in the terms. Well, it just makes the point. I mean, this is the case with most NFT stuff. Is that basically, it's decentralized, it's it's blockchain, etc., etc. Oh yeah, but if the platform that it relies upon goes down, which some of them have, that's it.
It's not worth shit.
You don't have it anymore. Yeah.
But isn't the whole point is that these things are on the blockchain regardless of the platform?
No.
Your receipt that you own something still exists, but the actual thing.
I mean, that's all NFTs are anyway. It's just a safe harbor.
Yeah, so fucking boring, isn't it?
Yeah, so users.
I like the statue. I like the figure.
The statue is amazing. It's really cool.
Yep.
Maybe I wouldn't pay $130 for it.
Sarah's got one. She's now invested into NFT market.
No. I'd get the $130 one without the NFT. But I feel like them doing the two versions is maybe them like testing demand.
Yeah.
So I guess if the one without it massively oversells, then they'll be like, okay, no one cares about this.
You can also get the remake version of Cloud Strife in the dress for $194.
Oh, nice.
And that one does look incredible. You seen that, Sarah?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
So,
did you?
Right. So, the figure comes with a code, right? And again, I feel like this is why no one's ever going to be asked until they massively streamline this stuff. So, people who buy the figure will have to create an account with NFT platform Engine and download their Engine wallet app. Once they get their figure, they'll then have a limited time to redeem their digital certificate and digital figure. After which, quote, any attempt to redeem cannot be accepted for any reason. And then there's a caution before purchasing section of the terms and conditions, and just says in case the Engine services becomes unavailable in the future, you may lose access to the NFT digital certificate of authenticity and digital version of the figure. It's like, great, cool.
Oh, I'm losing the will to live.
At least you still got a cool figure though.
You'd have a JPEG of a cool figure.
I mean,
And
it's
there's-
You
technically
have the actual statue as well.
There is a sample image of what the digital version of it might look like, and it's literally just a photograph of the figure stood on like a weird-looking bedside table.
Yeah, it looks like a Snapchat filter.
Yep. It's bizarre.
Anyway, let's move on.
Let's move
I like
on.
the statue.
please.
Just quick.
I just realised how fucking boring NFTs are to talk about. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's no one's fault. It's just Jesus Christ. Go on. Let's move on.
Just a quick public service announcement. If any of you are still using the Nintendo Wi-Fi dongle from 2005, Nintendo are just saying probably don't anymore because we reckon it might not be safe.
I'm using that right now to connect to the internet to power this podcast.
Well, I mean, why are they saying this 7 years later? Like,
wait, 7
17.
years later?
17.
Oh, 17. Sorry. What year are we in?
Yep. The Nintendo Wi-Fi USB dongle is old enough to have sex, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Officially, yeah.
So am I, mate. What is it showing off, is
I'm
it?
just saying, that's how old it is.
Right.
So this was the
kink
one...
shame the Nintendo Wi-Fi USB connector powered by Buffalo. Don't kink shame that.
So this is the one that they released alongside the DS, because obviously this was in the days when not necessarily everyone had a wireless router. So this was a dongle. You just plug it into your PC, which has presumably a wired internet connection, and then it would create a local wireless network. But understandably, they haven't supported it for a long time, and they've just basically put out things saying, it's probably like wide open to all sorts of security exploits. So,
security stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to blow up.
No,
right? Okay.
I mean, it'd be funny if it did.
I mean, they must have some sort of data. Is there a way they could track to see if anyone's actually using that fucking thing?
I don't know. Would something like that send any data to Nintendo? I wouldn't have thought so, yeah.
Yeah, they don't really know about the internet, do they?
Nah, it's sort of amazing they put something like this out in the first place, really.
They managed to upload this note. It's quite
probably Miyamoto saw this news story and was like, office. Fucking hell, all right, I've got to unplug all mine now, have I? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was supposed to be an internal memo because they've noticed that hundreds of their staff are still using them.
Yeah. Whenever everyone had to work from home for a bit, they just sent all these out in the post to all the staff. Here you go.
Now you have Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
All I love Nintendo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last story. If you want a free copy of Diablo 4, including beta access, all you've got to do is go and get a Diablo 4 tattoo.
Right.
Go on.
But think about what you're saying. Now, wait, don't tell me the story yet.
Yeah.
But either they've turned around and said, if you get a tattoo, you get a free game. Or one person got a tattoo and got a free game. So now someone's written a story saying, if you do this, you'll get that.
No.
That's irresponsible.
It is the former. It is an organised thing, and there's like set dates in certain like tattoos.
Well, that's disgraceful behaviour then, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm
How big does a tattoo have to be?
From what I've seen, they range in size. So they're no bigger than palm size, and then they do go down fairly small.
Is it not still a bit icky though?
I think it's disgusting.
Even if it's not obvious to everyone else, like you will quietly know that it's technically an advert.
Well, I say this as someone with multiple video game themed tattoos that I paid for my own money with, and didn't get free games for.
Yeah, but you took the choice. A company didn't turn around and say, "We will reward you if you get our game tattooed onto you." That's the difference.
What it is there are basically I think there's 8 studios worldwide. There's one in London in a couple weeks.
Sarah,
and basically
Sarah knows a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah, because
are you going? Are you going to get it done?
I would like to, but I feel like you will get there and it will be horrendously busy.
Probably, yeah.
So what it is it's what's called a flash day. So tattoo studios obviously normally run on appointments, but a lot of studios will do things called flash days where the artists will draw up what's known as tattoo flash. So it's pre-drawn designs. You rock up on the day. It's first come, first served. You pick out a design from the sheet and you get it tattooed. Like I've got 3, 4 that I've had done like that. And yeah, it's basically that, but Diablo themed. And if you turn up and you get one of these tattoos, you'll get a copy of the game. It's been done before. Gears 5, Gears 4 or 5 did something like it at
did they that recently? Okay.
Convention. And yeah, there was a load of so Clara Sinclair, absolutely amazing artist. She did my Destiny tattoo. She was one of the artists working on that Gears one, and she had a bunch of pre-drawn designs. And if you're a massive Gears fan, you could turn up and get one of these tattoos. I mean, as someone who is obviously very heavily tattooed, I kind of figure if someone is really into Diablo and they're a consenting adult who, you know, already has other tattoos and is like, hey, this is a fun story to tell about one of your tattoos. Like,
I agree. I totally agree with that. What I don't agree with are the people that's going to get it done that aren't that. The people that are going to get, you know, they're doing it for the reward. I think, you know, it's okay for us to disagree on this, but I do genuinely think this is a really, like, morally wrong thing to do. I don't think a company should be offering rewards for tattoos of their art or their logo. I don't think it's the right thing to do. And as someone who's had tattoos themselves, and believe me, I wish I had a lot more, but I just don't think it's right. I think you don't need to do that. Right, you don't need to get involved in that side of things, and I think morally, a company rewarding someone for doing that, I just don't think it's right. I know what you're saying. There will be people that see this and go, you know, I want that tattoo anyway. I'll get a Diablo tattoo, brilliant. You know, and getting a reward for doing so is, you know, that side of things fine. But when you've got like someone who's a lot younger, maybe, you know, at the time, you know how things are. Especially with tattoos, you make decisions when you're younger, and sometimes you grow up to regret them or whatever. But for a company to be involved in that decision, I think that's where I sit there and go, I'm not on board with that at all.
I think as well, it's also worth bearing in mind that I think this kind of happens with most sort of flash days, is they are busy. If you want to get in, especially an event like this, like I also had a look at the studio that's doing it, and the studio that's doing it in London is incredible. Like their art is absolutely phenomenal. And I feel like if you want to do, because it's only one day in London, in like all of the locations, it's one day only. If you want one of these tattoos, you are going to have to be down there early, and you are going to have to queue. Like, yeah, like I would imagine, unless you are there stupid o'clock in the morning, you ain't getting one of these tattoos. And I think you probably will have to pay for it as well. It's not like a turn up, get tattooed, you get it all for free. Like, you are going to have to pay for this tattoo as well.
Fair dues. No, it's just interesting, isn't it? Because obviously there are as many reasons for getting tattoos as there are people with tattoos, right? Like I was saying, like me personally, whatever the tattoo is of, it would give me the ick knowing that it was part of a marketing thing. But then that's not going to bother everyone, and that's absolutely fine. Like you say, like some people, it'll just be a funny story about, like, you know, because I know there's that whole thing of, like, you know, people who don't have tattoos, which I don't, by the way. This isn't me like claiming that, like, oh, I'm a big tattoo guy. Like, you know, people who are like, when they see people with tattoos and they're like, oh, I'm like, what does that mean? Why did you get this one? Why did you get that one? It's like, just because they're just cool. Shut up. They're cool, and I had some money and I wanted to get one. Like, that's, no one needs to justify their tattoos to anyone else. But yeah, it's just, and it, you know, and clearly this is like a far cry from, like, you know, when Acclaim did that, you know, name your baby Turok and we'll give you some money or whatever it was. Like, that was gross.
Yeah, as you said, like, especially because that's affecting
exactly
else.
A child who has no.
But it is a lovely name.
It's a lovely name. So, as Sarah says, this is all consenting adults. So
yeah, but at least the name thing, you can like quickly change it by depot afterwards.
I guess, yeah.
But I think honestly, there's only one person here to blame. It's not Blizzard. It's Peter Moore. You know, for starting the craze.
That's true.
When he got
That's true.
He got his Halo 2 tattoo and his GTA one. I was like, this is always the end point.
definitely didn't have them. I saw an interview with him about the Halo tattoo, and he sort of said, "Yeah, it was all real. It was all real." And he said, "Well, I'm not going to show you." It was like, "Oh no, Peter, you're not going to show that." I don't think it was real. I don't think it was real, Sean.
No.
How about that? No.
Because if you got it removed, you would just say that. Or why doesn't he just say, "Oh, well, yeah, I got it removed later"?
Because he loves the mystery, doesn't he?
I guess.
with some soap and water.
I love it because he was like CEO of Liverpool Football Club at one point. I love the idea of him turning up in a t-shirt and seeing like the Halo 2 under the t-shirt and like GCL never on represent.
It never happened. Come on. Did you see
he
it?
was
I mean,
CEO.
even if you look at it now, if it was real, it's one of the worst tattoos. Like, he got someone to do it backstage with a pen.
I was going to say,
and
tattoos do look worse when you do them with a Bic biro. So
Okay, is that it for the news?
that is it for the news.
Then let's get on to what you've been playing. There's been, I suppose the biggest release this week has to be Stray. So should we get straight into it?
Let's get straight into it.
Yes, Matt.
Come on,
Right,
Sean.
see you later, everyone. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, so short show this week. Bye.
Fucking hell. So Stray is it's a game where you play as a cat, and it's set. I've seen a lot of people saying it's set in a cyberpunk setting. Is it?
Mm.
Is it? You know more about cyberpunk
One of
than
the
I do.
cities feels very kind of, well, it's neon lit and robots and shit.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's got neon
Aesthetically,
signs.
I've only played 10 minutes of it, so I'm going to keep out of this. But yeah, from what I've
really?
Yeah, I just not had time. But yeah, aesthetically, it's clearly cyberpunk influenced. But I mean, in terms of themes and characters and stuff, it's not really there, is it?
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I wouldn't call it cyberpunk. Like just whacking neon in something
Exactly.
doesn't make it cyberpunk.
Oh, it's neon, but it's also a bit dirty. Ooh.
Yeah.
So the
and
setup is right. Okay. The setup is you play as a cat. You fall down the hole, and you end up in a city that is being held in by a dome. Right. A little bit like it's like what is it for that? The Truman Show. It's a little bit like Truman Show, although you can see like the workings of the dome in this city. There's no human life anywhere. It's full of robots that were clearly originally built to help humans or whatever, but they've been so lonely and on their own for so long, they've started mimicking human life,
Right.
which is quite funny, quite sweet. And you're tasked to kind of sort things out down there in a weird way, but we'll come to the actual gameplay and what you're supposed to be doing in a bit. Let's just get a handle of where we're at. So I've finished this. Matt?
Yeah, I finished it.
Okay, and Sarah?
I'm about an hour and a half in because I started playing it at 10 o'clock last night because I went, oh shit, I should probably play something other than Destiny because Sean messaged me at 8:30, almost 9 o'clock, going,
Yeah,
do you want to be on the podcast tomorrow night?
Thanks for grassing me up, Sarah. Thanks for that. I was meant to ask you on Friday, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've got receipts. All those WhatsApp messages are timestamped. So I put in about half an hour last night and about an hour earlier today.
So I think the first thing I want to say about this game is that it's not the game that I was expecting, which is fine. It's totally fine. I'm not one of those people that focuses on what it's not instead of what it is, right? But I think it's important to note that, firstly, when I saw the marketing for this and when I saw the trailers, I thought you were controlling a cat and it was like a walking simulator where you were experiencing a story in the environment as you were walking around, right? It's not that at all. In fact, actually, really, after the first hour, it might as well not be a cat because all the interactions are happening. There's people talking to the cat and asking the cat to do stuff, and then you go off and do it. I think the whole concept of you play as a cat goes out the window the first time one of the characters goes, we need to find 3 notebooks. If you head off into various different apartments and collect the notebooks and bring them back here, and I'm thinking, what, that cat's going, all right, yeah, 3 notebooks, look out for the symbols outside the flat. Do you know what I mean? It sort of drops the whole, your role playing as a cat very early on and becomes a video game. I would say that it reminds me of, it sort of fits into a box that you mainly see on well, I say you mainly see on PlayStation consoles, but we also had the gunk. We had the gunk on Xbox, which I didn't really get on with that well. But you had like a Concrete Genie on the PS4, which I think this is very much. I mean, when I was chatting to James Farley about it, I sort of really felt like that sort of game. And what I mean by that is a relatively short game, 4 to 5 hours, slightly cheaper than most games. In fact, probably half price to a normal PlayStation game, and has a unique concept. And my view is, and still is after playing through this game, keep these coming. I mean, it's brilliant to have a 5-hour experience that feels completely unique, really interesting, and ultimately really satisfying by the time you get to the end of it. I really like the story. I really love the world building in this game. And, I have a lot of complaints about it, but that's not to say that I didn't like my experience and that I don't want any more games like this, because these are exactly the sort of games that I like playing. The sort of 5-hour experience where you're going to get to the end, enjoy it. It'll always be something you remember. And you've got a taste of this really unique and interesting world. This nails it for that. So if that interests you, then go for it. But there are a few complaints that I've got, and they are mainly they're mainly gameplay based. I mean, I think the opening, Sarah, the opening hour and a half. It's very not scripted, but it is. There's no challenge to any of the platforming, which for me, I'm quite happy about, to be quite honest.
Well, there's no challenge to any of the platforming at any point, because you have to jump at pre-arranged points.
Yeah,
so
it's all pre-arranged points, yeah. And apparently that was brought in late on into the development, That wasn't always the case with this game.
Was it not?
They brought it on late onto the development, okay. Yeah. They had to completely redo that after testing and stuff. But the only thing that really frustrated me with the gameplay stuff is I quite like the fetch quest stuff, because you're viewing like these really detailed environments. The internal environments in this game are absolutely stunning, right? If you're going into someone's apartment, it's filled with stuff. Everything looks unique, and it looks really quite amazing in places.
Well, internal and external. I think the art design generally across the board, I think is absolutely fantastic in this game. Like, there's so much detail everywhere you go, inside and outside. No matter where you look, like, you can tell they've really kind of combed over the details in every meter of this entire world.
Yeah, like that's what I think's really kind of taken me with it, is technically it is not the most graphically impressive game. Like the cat model, I'm sure we've seen better in games.
The cat model's the weakest part, right?
Yeah, especially because like I think it's probably because it's like furry, whereas obviously the robots are like solid, because that's always way easier to sort of model and animate and everything. But from like an artistic perspective, it's so good looking. Like, it's just like you say, like with the world building and like the graffiti and the design of the robots, and as you say, like some like the interiors, and just like it feels like a real world.
Oh, but that's I think that's this game's biggest achievement. I think the idea of the environment, right, the world that you're in, I love the concept of it, and they absolutely now making that realistic. Like, it feels real, and especially by the end, that bit at the end, Matt, which we're not going to spoil, obviously.
Yeah,
but
please don't.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
But that bit at the end, you go, oh my god! Like,
it was awesome.
This is exactly how I imagined it at the time, and it works, and it looks incredible, right? So, yeah, the concept of the world that you're in and pulling that off, they do perfectly. I certainly think there are some other environments that are way better than the others. In fact, I think they struggle to live up to the slums, to be quite honest. I think other
that first
environments,
area is so detailed. It's really big. There's so much to do, and then later areas, you're like, okay, wow, we're gonna see some more like that, and they never truly live up to it. I mean, I think others are better looking.
What I found is that some of the other environments I looked at and went, oh, this is bigger now. Like, this is really cool, but they're not anywhere near as interesting as the slums. Like they just seemed like there was way more going on in those places, and the other places not so much. But it didn't really matter. I was still enjoying my time with it. The only problem I had with this game really was that they felt the need to turn it into a stealth game again. Like, I'd say the final quarter of the game is all stealth, and you're going, I didn't want. Why are we doing this? Like, we don't need to do this. The rest of it was so nice, and it worked so well, and it was so interesting trying to explore and find every little side quest that not there's not like listed side quests. There's just, you come across a conversation and that leads to you finding something, and then you go about your business and you start connecting the dots with things. Whereas then it gets into the stealth stuff, and you go, mate, I fucking hate stealth. I
think it's really only the final kind of level or two that's stealth. There's stuff before that where you just run away from all the enemies that are basically like head crabs from Half-Life, which I wasn't
I
fan of.
hate those things.
Run past them.
Yeah, because
don't worry,
you get chased a lot, and there's just loads of them, and I did feel a bit uncomfortable with them. But
Really?
you just run, because there's loads of running bits we just try and escape.
Yeah, no, the running bits are fine, but I'm talking about the Sentinels.
Yeah, but then
there's quite a bit of that, Matt.
Yeah, I know. I felt like that, but that was so close to the end. I mean, I played a whole lot in like quite quick succession. So that last bit felt like a little bit of stealth, but it didn't bother me. But I think most of the other stuff, gameplay changes so much because you're totally right. In the slums area, it's about side quests here and exploring the environment and enjoying it, and then that kind of gameplay very much disappears in like the latter half.
Yeah, and as I said, when you kind of, there are moments where you forget you're a cat, and I think everyone goes into this thinking, oh no, that's like the main hook. It's a shame that they sort of dropped that so quickly. You're not walking past people, overhearing conversations and connecting storylines. You are literally playing a character, and a robot is talking to you and talking to other people in the world, and the robot is. You might as well be controlling the robot at that point. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say, is it clear like how you're even understanding what the robots are saying?
Yeah,
okay.
Because you have a little robot on you called B12 who's like translating the world, and you have like a little jacket it puts on the cat, and then the idea is that is kind of telling you.
So you're in your head, the robot's turning around to the cat and going meow 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 meow.
I hadn't thought about that, but they're communicating some way. I mean, like that cat understands what B12's saying, so
yeah,
right.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, the cat is the weakest part for me. I mean, okay, so I'm not a cat. No, in terms of a character,
the cat's so cute.
Okay, well, so I haven't got a cat. I'm not a cat lover. I would love a cat, but just wasn't able to have a cat when I was younger. So maybe if you're like obsessed with cats, I think that you're going to absolutely love this game regardless, because the animations of the cat look amazing. It feels very cat-like for sure.
Yeah, like as you know, I've had a lot of cats over the years. There's so many like even just in like the first hour and a half, there's been so many like little bits, and I'm like that are just so like the bit when you first get the backpack for B12 and B12 puts it on the cat and the cat just flops over to the side.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Anyone who's ever had a cat and tried to put like a harness or like a little outfit on it for the first time, they just flop. Like they just like don't know how to deal with having this thing on them, so they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna lay here and just not move. Like they just don't. And yeah, the fact that like it did that was really funny. Just the way the cat kind of like bats at things. Like the first time you come across like the paint cans and you can just like push them off the edge. Yeah,
I did so much of that. I was any opportunity I could get to knock things off, I was doing it. I absolutely loved doing
It's a shame that the physics were a bit broken here and there, where like you walk past a can and it would fire off into orbit. Like
I've had
weird.
I've had that happen a couple of times.
But the cat as a character, I didn't. There was because most of the communication is done through B12. It feels like the cat just isn't really. It isn't really serving a purpose, and also like all the robots are like, oh, outsider or they're basically telling you what your mission is, even though the cat.
Yeah,
is a cat
I suppose
doesn't...
they'd never seen a cat before, though, right?
But they were basically they were saying the importance of his mission, but you as a cat don't give a shit. I mean, like, the cat was happy to be in the slums and other places. I know cats generally don't give a shit anyway.
It's true.
Well, it's like everyone else around the world was like, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. But like, I'm like, do I? What's the... I'm happy here, I'm a cat.
Just give me a mouse.
I just start again, there is like...
One of the robots does say to you, like, super early on that none of the robots are, like, fast or agile or, like, small enough to go and get up to where you got to put, like, the transceiver thing. And, like, only the cat can do it because it's, like, agile and stuff.
Yeah, and there are a few moments where obviously they have to rely on you for that. But I just thought, well, the cat isn't bothered. I'm not bothered. Everyone else seems to be bothered in the world. And also, I think generally, story-wise, I thought this would like do more emotionally in terms of me and my connection to the cat, or the cat's connection to the story.
I mean,
You wanted the cat to come up to the screen and go, "Hello, Matthew."
I mean, obviously not that. I just thought there'd be way more emotion, whereas the cat was just pretty nonplussed with the whole story.
I mean, this is 100% you speaking for yourself, because the bit right at the beginning, where your cat falls down the hole and all his other cat friends are like, no, and he falls and he's like scrabbling. He's scrabbling, trying not to like fall down. I was almost about ready to turn the game off. I was like, I can't deal with this. Matt, little cat.
I'm really, really worried about what you're going to say. So please just think for a second.
Can I say something?
Go on.
I did that bit, and I thought all his cat mates just looked completely nonplussed about what was going on.
Well, that's cat life, isn't it, man?
They're just looking at you like, oh, well, he's fucking dead.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like cats are also assholes. So, because that's the thing, Dave. That you're saying that it's really like, oh, how can the cat understand? Is the little robot? Yeah, like that's not the most implausible thing about the game. The most implausible thing about the game is the fact that the cat is actually doing something good to try and help people. Cats are assholes.
It's doing as it's told, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm
cats
talking
don't do that.
Talking specifically about like internet cat people, right? They're always like, oh, I think cats are way better than dogs because cats are independent and they don't give a shit what you think and they do whatever they like. And then it's like, well, here's a cat game and you spend the entire time apparently doing fetch quests for robots. It just seems like an odd fit. But...
Yeah, I know, but it's a game, you know. I think once you get over the fact that it's not a cat simulator, I think I'm all right with it. But, Matt, sorry to cut you off then. Are you happy with saying what you were about to say now?
Well, I mean, I thought that first bit was
friends.
sad when the cat fell down. But then, 30 seconds later, it's like, it's fine. But I just felt I didn't really have an emotional connection to the story or the cat at all.
Really? I love the story.
I thought it was going to do, story-wise, things that we might have seen in other amazing kind of side-scrolling kind of games like Limbo or Inside or those kinds of things where... I don't know. There wasn't really an emotional punch or connection or anything for me for the game.
I don't know. I think there was for me.
Yeah,
I think there was for me.
I think for me, maybe not emotional yet, because obviously I am only sort of an hour and a half in. But I think for me, what's really kind of grabbed me in, because I've just got all the notebooks. Like that's kind of where I'm up to. But I have done a couple of like the fetch quests. I've got some of the music pages and I've given one of them to the musician robot.
Yeah.
I
enjoyed collecting
the end there.
Yeah.
Did you have you bought anything from Grandma's shop yet?
Yes, she's given me the poncho, but I don't know. I haven't figured out
how.
Sorry.
How
there are ponchos for the cat
you?
in this game. Is that?
No, well, this is it, Sean. How disappointed were you when you found out it wasn't for your cat?
Oh, yeah, no, I was really disappointed.
I was like, oh my God, I've got a poncho for my cat. What? It's there. How do I put it? Oh, I don't put it on.
Yeah.
No.
That is heartbreaking.
I thought I was going to get a little outfit for the cat. But but I think...
The description says like, this is for someone who is cold.
Yeah, like a cold robot. But I know for a fact I will find that cold robot and the robot will be really happy and then you'll get to see the robot wrapped up in the poncho and I'll be really happy for the robot.
Yeah.
Because I think
I really like Sorry, okay. I mean, on that quest specifically, there were a bunch of quests whereby you get something and then that helps someone else and that person helps someone else, etc., etc. But what I like is that I kind of had that poncho, something else happened, I'm like, I know exactly where to take this already. It wasn't like I've had to see it in a certain order. Or
you'd seen that thing already, right? Okay.
Yeah, so I thought, okay, and I just like the fact that I could kind of skip to that because I knew already. I wasn't like. I didn't break it because I had seen it in a different order or done something in the wrong order.
Right.
But yeah, I think for me, yeah, like as I say, like obviously I don't know how emotional the story's going to get or anything, but I think for me, what's really grabbed me is just the atmosphere, especially like it's really, really nice when right at the beginning when it's all the 4 cats and you're going through this clearly kind of big sort of industrial area and it's all kind of overgrown and it's like, oh, this is just really nice, but you kind of start to get that like, oh, like what's happened to make this all kind of like get overgrown. And then when you first fall down the hole, but before you get to the slums and meet the robots for the first time, there's obviously that huge section where it's all just completely abandoned and it's really creepy. And it's just, and even to be honest, when you kind of get to the slums, there's just this kind of overwhelming atmosphere of just like melancholy, and it's just kind of very lonely. And yeah, you're kind of just constantly wondering like what's happened, like what went on. And I think that world building in that segment, from falling down the hole to first meeting the robots and first starting to like find your way around the slums, like that world building is incredible. And I think as well, just like with like level design and how you always know where you're going because you look for the neon.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean,
there are a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's even kind of continuing in like the slums a little bit, like the orange neon is where you need to go. And I think it's just really, really, really well done.
Yeah. I did really enjoy the mystery about why the world is why it is. I thought that was really good. And I think the music plays a huge part of that as well. The music is fantastic.
The music is so good.
Mm.
The thing that got me emotionally, I think, was when I started to work out that, no, these robots are just representing the humans that they were with. You know what I mean? Like they're wearing their clothes and acting presumably like them, And then that's when I went, oh no, this is really sad. These robots have like they've been made to serve their owners, and clearly they spent a lot of time with them and stuff, and they kind of miss them. Like that's
right. So so it's not just as simple as all the people are gone, but hey, the robots took over, and it's basically the same. Like
No. They hate the fact of what it's like, and they talk about the humans and all that sort of stuff, and like it's like they're eating and they're drinking and they're arguing, and as Sarah said, one of them's cold. They're not actually any of those things.
It's just like
they're just mimicking.
Yeah,
it's just they're playing out. They're replacing the humans that they lost, essentially.
But yeah, I found the best way about the story all the other characters, but just not the cat. But all the other characters you meet, their stories, their plight.
I will say this: I nearly tweeted when I started playing it, but I thought I was going to catch way too much heat. I just thought, because this was getting like 9s and 10s. Right, I nearly tweeted, time to see if Stray is really that good or if just cat people reviewed it. You do wonder that. I mean, that's extra 3 points.
Well, that's the thing. Even just on like the little bit that I've played, there's obviously so much about, as I said, like the world and the atmosphere, and like the look and the art direction that I absolutely love.
Yeah,
I mean the gameplay is satisfying, but it's not much of a game right now.
No, and I don't think it ever really becomes. I think that's probably why they tried to introduce the stealth stuff and the other bits and pieces. I think they tried to make it more of a game towards the end, and there's certainly a bit that I won't spoil for you that is very gamey, very video gamey. And I kind of think that that's what they were trying to do. I don't think they necessarily needed to do that, but I understand why they did. The gameplay elements of this don't exactly blow you away, but they work, right? There's nothing there that's incredibly frustrating. It's got like one of the best hint mechanics that I've seen in a game ever, like pressing down on the D-pad and your robot saying, here's where you're up to. You know, that's been really helpful when I stopped playing one night and started playing the next night. Pressing down on the D-pad and the robot going, remember what happened with him? Now we're going to go and find that one, remember? And I'm like, yeah, I do remember that actually, mate. And then off I go on my little adventure. So that stuff's been great. But I would say if you like cats, then definitely buy it. If you've got access to one of the services, you know, the PlayStation, this is what winds me up, because I was thinking about this. I was talking to someone about this the other day. Someone comes out on Game Pass, you go, oh, it's on Game Pass, get it. You know what I mean? Go and play it. So it comes out on this PlayStation thing. What do you say?
Upgrade your subscription.
It's on PlayStation Premium or Plus. I can't remember what it's called.
Well, it's on Extra and Premium.
It's Extra and Premium.
Yeah, just say if you've got the PS Plus, that means you can get it. Then you should get it, because that's how that's how I told my housemate to play it. I was like, if
find
you can,
it in the store on
your
your PlayStation, and if it says download, then click the button, and if it says paid, then maybe just wait for a sale.
Yeah, basically.
I got.
There is a 7-day free trial, so you can easily smash this 5-hour game in that 7 days.
That's true.
God, yeah.
I got done for £7 trying to buy this game. Absolutely mugged off by cdkeys.com.
Oh dear, what happened?
It was just I pre-ordered it through them because they had it for like £18. And I was like, yeah, fine. I mean, I would have paid full price anyway. Just saw a deal and thought I might as well. And then on day of release, they just sent out an email to everyone saying, yeah, sorry, we didn't get any codes, so here's your money. But obviously by that point, I'd missed the pre-order discount on Steam. So I could have got it for like 21, 22 quid. So yeah, I ended up having to pay full whack, but whatever. I'll survive.
Ouch.
It's just, it's like, I could have.
What you should have done is pay £450 for a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, then it would have been free. Matt Murray maths.
I mean, with a subscription.
Yeah.
Matt Murray maths. Yeah, so, I mean, that's it, really. I hope these games never go away. These type of, 5-hour experiences, I hope they never go away, because, even if I'm looking at this and going, for me, it's like a 8 out of 10, maybe? Not like a 9 or a 10. These games never really hit that anyway. And even, you look at Last Stop, the game that James and I played last year. That was, again, a 5 to 6 hour experience. It was mainly a walking sim, with a few moral choices here and there. And I think I said I would have given it a 6 if I was reviewing it. I still fucking think about it a lot, because it is that sort of reduced down, really unique concept, and they nail something at least. You know what I mean? And that's all it needs at that price point and at that sort of level of commitment. It just needs to nail something. And for me, this game absolutely nails the environment and the story, the setting around it. Like, I think it really works and it's really interesting.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to see a shortage of these shorter games, because ultimately it's a response to several things, right? It's like increasing development costs and also like gamers getting older and having busier lives. Like, I think there's always going to be room for this stuff. Would it, that you were saying like it's not much of a game until there's like certain sections later on. Did they sort of spoil that, or do they have?
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, you're saying that it gets more gamey later on. I would be perfectly happy if it stayed at the level of game that it is right now, because there's a little bit of puzzle in that you kind of have to figure out how to get to certain places by jumping on different things. Like, the only like challenge in quotes with the platforming, again in quotes, is looking around and figuring out the path, not any sort of like platforming skill. There's a little bit of puzzle stuff going on, like a very kind of like mild, fairly easy puzzles, but you still got to think about it like a little bit. Like, I would be perfectly happy if it stayed at that level for the entire rest of the game and just let me enjoy the atmosphere and the characters and the story.
Yeah.
100%. Matt,
absolutely.
Think of it this way. You take the stealth bits out and you take the bits where you're running away out. Yeah. the game's not affected, right? In fact, actually, it's probably improved.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with Sarah. If it was what the first area is, but another 2 or 3 of them, and I like the fact that puzzles were simple and enjoyable, and yeah, I definitely.
There was a
needed
couple
the
that I
extra
got done by. Did you have to look up at any point, Matt?
No. What?
Really?
I mean,
getting the jacket. I was like, I've got no idea how I'm supposed to get that. And no, that's not true.
The jacket or the poncho?
No, the jacket.
The jacket. No, that was
the high-vis jacket.
I'd already got the other bit first.
Oh, see, that's the problem that I had. I knew exactly what I needed to do, but I could not work out how to get the other bit. I had no idea how to.
Have you guys opened the safe in the slums?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll ask you about that later then.
Okay, cool. All right, that's Stray. That's what we thought of Stray. I'm looking at a list of games in front of me. I'm seeing, Sarah, you've got Destiny 2. I don't know if that's a joke or not. It seems to be every time. Maybe you just left it on there from last 3 appearances. And then next to it, you've got Guardians of Galaxy, but this will be short. A game that is fantastic that not enough people talk about. So what's going on here?
Well, so with like Destiny 2 is on there because their Solstice event started on Tuesday last week.
Oh, yeah.
Solstice, is it? Running for 3 weeks, and I've done everything there is to do in it in 2 days.
Any good? Is this?
Oh dear.
Haven't
Short
these
on
events,
content once again?
Haven't these events famously been like a pain in the arse
I
in the
played
past?
it too much.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, so the way Solstice used to work was you would get given basically the way all of that they have 4 seasonal events throughout the year, so essentially you get 1 seasonal event like per season.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what happens is this NPC called Ava Levante, she's basically space grandma. She comes to the
she
tower.
does Christmas and stuff, and she's yeah,
and Halloween, and she's just a nice old lady that calls you dear, and she's very sweet. And yeah, Space Grandma comes and visits the tower and gets you to do fun stuff for like a couple of weeks. And yeah, Solstice used to be, it was like you'd get like an armor set, and by doing each armor set has like 2 or 3 different tasks, and there's like 2 or 3 different sets of them. And when you do those tasks, it's like, do dungeons, do strikes, do crucible runs, whatever. They steadily get more and more challenging, and basically the armor kind of upgrades, and then it gets like a glow to it. That was how it used to work. Now, it sounded super confusing when Bungie first mentioned it, but then when you actually do it, it's it's again that Bungie issue of do things to get currencies, to change the currency, to then do things with that currency.
Yeah.
And then there's also another currency, because why the hell not? So basically you do strikes and stuff to get silver leaves. Then you go into the new activity, which you basically run around, kill things, and then you chuck things on a bonfire to like build the bonfire up. And then a big boss appears at the end, and that's basically it. It's kind of fun.
Fair enough.
You do that, and that converts the leaves to ashes. And then the silver ashes you use in conjunction with kindling. The kindling you get from doing event challenges.
This is what they do every time. It's honest, like
I know, like it's one of like I said, like describing it sounds so confusing.
Yeah.
But once you're actually in game and you're doing it, it does make sense, and it is quite easy to understand once you're doing it in the game. And basically, once you've upgraded the armor like a couple times, it gets better stats, and then once you've upgraded it fully, it gets this like nice glow to it, and it looks really cool. Once you've done that, the glow stays, but you can keep getting new armor and then using the ashes to like re-roll the stats on it. So essentially, if you want, you can grind, and if you're going after certain stat builds, you can essentially use this activity and this event to really kind of get like the perfect gear that you want, which is pretty cool. They've also brought in a seal. So seals are like collections of triumphs, and you get like a title for it. That's a new thing for events, and there's basically... So I've got the Flamekeeper? Yeah, I've got the Flamekeeper title.
I got that one, yeah.
Will you take the piss?
Yeah, he's
Yes,
taking
I
the
am.
piss.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and then each future event is going to have a seal and a title tied to it, and then if you get all 4 within the year, then you get like another one, like a kind of umbrella sort of one. So obviously I'm going for all of those because I like the seasonal events. They're always fun. Like Solstice and Guardian games I normally don't really bother with much. Christmas and Halloween I really enjoy. They also have brought in another purchasable thing. So it's called like the upgraded event card. It costs about £8. And basically you get like 3 cosmetic items. It's like a ghost shell, an emote, and something else. And then by completing the event challenges, you get tickets, and then you can trade them in for a bunch more cosmetic stuff. So you get like a ship, a sparrow, a ghost, a couple of other bits, and like a couple of emotes. Like in all, £8 for all of that based on like prices of stuff is really, really good value. For me personally, I'm probably not going to use any of those, but that's just because I don't really like the Solstice stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to when they do it for Halloween, because I normally spend a lot of money on the cosmetic stuff for Halloween because it's always really fun. But yeah, I overall, I think the upgraded event card, I think could do with another kind of look over. I think it was a little bit underwhelming. But yeah, like the change to the event and the fact that they've brought in like the seals and the titles and stuff for it, it's really good.
So the upgraded event card, that feels like an upgraded kind of battle pass, but just for the event, right?
Like a mid-season battle pass, basically.
Ask
Yeah,
questions,
that's essentially
Matthew.
what it is. That's exactly what it is.
When's the next one start then? The next season thing?
So that will be August 23rd, and it's the day.
Matt, can you mark that down in the calendar to get a good 2-3 weeks before we ask Sarah on again?
Back around August time.
Yeah, that. Because also as well as August 23rd is when they've announced that they're doing their showcase to show off the next expansion.
I think we're busy.
Leave a couple of months.
I think we're busy.
Yeah. Also as well is August 23rd is when the new season starts. It's also when we're getting a new raid, and my clan are going to try and do the raid the first weekend it opened. We tried to do that with the last raid, but there were server issues and we had to call it after like 2 hours because we all kept getting
Okay, now we're talking. Right, how many people are in your clan?
Overall, I don't know. But there's like
Sounds
a kind of
community.
Yeah, not as many as ours then.
There's like a core group of about 8 or 9 of us that raid and do stuff like.
So think of that
regularly.
Core 8 or 9 now, right?
Yeah.
You got to boot one from the clan. Go, name the name. We want to hear it.
Oh, it's got to be Jason because he'll be the one who'd be most mad about
man.
it.
Yeah, I thought you guys said Jason. Actually,
Jason's card's been
written all
marked
over them
for some time.
I just see Jason floating away like the Among Us character at the end of a round.
Poor Jason.
Why, Jason?
Jason,
Can we clip this and send it to Jason? Is he on Twitter?
No, he's not.
Oh, right.
Well,
he
good.
definitely
I don't
is.
blame him.
He definitely is. Did you hear Sarah's voice then? No.
I know. I don't
not.
think. I don't think he is. But he is.
He's never even heard of it.
He is our clan's biggest trash talker.
Who's that?
So he'd have to go.
Oh, trash talker, is it?
Yeah.
That's James Farley.
Well,
now,
what was it? What was it? He was already saying earlier that his back hurts from carrying our sort of raid leader, clan leader. So yeah.
I should point out as well, because I know James is listening to this, and a bunch of people heard me call James the biggest trash talker amongst us and thought I was joking. No, remember that Jonathan Blow had to block him. Remember that, okay? So I'm being deadly serious. Oh, you don't know that Jonathan Blow has blocked James Farley on Twitter? Oh, he's blocked him.
Big time. Wasn't
that's
James just
amazing.
kind of being an arse to him though?
Yes.
Troll,
But isn't Jonathan Blow like a bit of a
Yeah.
Bit of a character.
He's one
But
word for it.
James was being a dick to him, wasn't he?
James was in the wrong on this one, I believe.
James kept tweeting him about the Gears of War, didn't he?
Yes, that's right.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do. It's like, if we were like, oh, well, to be fair, James was just taking him to task about his weird COVID tweets, then fair enough. But no, it was less honourable than that.
This story is just so many twists and turns.
I know.
James is.
When you first mentioned it, I thought maybe he just said The Witness was like real shit. But then it's like, there's Gears of War, there's COVID.
No, he psychologically bombarded him, like he ruined him at one point. It was all very sad to see. I hope Jonathan Blow, I hope you're doing well, and we're sorry on behalf of the TCGS crew.
Definitely listening to this.
For what you had to go through. Now, what upsets me here is that you've got Guardians of the Galaxy in brackets, but this will be short.
Yeah. Because...
And I remember you posting on Twitter that you were going to start this, finally get round to starting this.
Yeah.
And then you said, oh my God, this is amazing. So
Yeah.
I'm worried that you stopped playing after that.
No, I haven't. I said, but this will be short because obviously you guys have all spoken about it quite at length.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it can be very, very much summed up in, I mean, the actual like gameplay is nothing new or original, but it's done very well. Like, it's real solid. It's just nothing new, but it's done very well. Everything else, though, is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I constantly kind of keep getting to like cutscenes, and I'm like looking at the characters and like watching, and I'm like, how does this look so good?
Yeah.
How does this look like real people?
Yeah.
And
it's
how
so
is the writing so good? How is he a better Star-Lord than Chris Pratt?
Well, this is
like,
it. And
I
it's so easy
prefer
to...
the game's Star-Lord.
Yeah, like it's so easy to look at it and be like, but they've clearly taken a lot from the films. And yeah, they have. But then, like I was saying a month or two ago, I played Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. Which is literally just meant to be the characters from the films, and it's awful. Like, it's just not funny. None of the voices are right. Like, just none of it works. And it's like, to be fair, the actual Guardians of the Galaxy game, like, fucking knocked it out of the park. Like, it was not easy to, in some ways replicate, and in others build upon the stuff in the films. Like, they've done such a good job.
And obviously, like, and I mean, I've only done, I think I'm on like chapter 4. I think I've just got to the entrance of like the big fortress where we're going to go sell.
Oh, yeah.
I decided, we're going to go.
Who are you selling?
I'm selling Rocket.
I'm the only one that sold Groot. I am the only one that sold Groot.
Yeah, but Groot's a big sweetheart though, and I think they're building her up to have like. Oh, yeah, no, Rocket's a little shit.
That's totally the difference there. So. Because I hadn't seen the films, I had no emotional connection to Groot. Like, the thought of me selling Groot now is like, Dave, what are you doing? Right? But at the time, I was like, well, there's this who seems like sort of my competitive buddy throughout the start of this game, and there's a tree that just says the same fucking thing over and over. Sell him.
But it's
what I was saying.
I mean, it's obviously, like, it's not able to take anything that's in the films. And granted, in the like kind of first mission, some of the areas kind of inside are a little bit generic. And when you're like creeping through like the old ship and stuff, that's a little bit generic.
Wow, gotcha.
But when you're then on your way to this fortress, like the exteriors and like some of the buildings and stuff, like the art direction is amazing. Like, considering, that all of this is like completely original and not taken from the films, they've just done an absolutely incredible job with it. Obviously, the soundtrack is insane.
Like all the Star-Lord stuff, because I had no idea. Like, I thought, obviously, because they introduced the notion of Star-Lord being a band that he was into as a kid and stuff, and I was like, oh, that must be like from the comics. Nope, that's something they came up with for this, and it was literally like I can't remember his actual title, but like the lead sound designer was like, I'll do the band, I'll be the band.
Yeah,
fucking did all the music.
Yeah,
like,
and it's like when you first...
And it all sounds amazing.
When you first load up the game, and obviously it's Star-Lord as a kid sat listening to the album, I was like, this slaps.
Yeah, man.
I'm just going to sit here, and I listened to like half the album before I started playing the game, because like I'm really, really into that kind of, that style of like 80s metal, like new wave of British heavy metal, a little bit of thrash, like, and there's actually been like a real kind of resurgence. There's a lot of bands that sound like that now. Like they sound and dress like they're from like 1986. It's incredible. So I was like, I'm just going to sit here and listen to this. Apparently as well, because obviously it's first person. He's like looking at the insert from the cassette, and you can read through all the lyrics. Apparently, that's the story of the game.
Oh, is it?
Well, the lyrics.
I never went back and...
I need to look at that.
Because I suppose at that point you're completely missing all context, right? So
exactly.
Really,
and obviously it's kind of vague enough that it's you have as I said, you have to know like the context of the rest of the story. Yeah. But it's just so, it's, as I said, like the actual gameplay is nothing special. It's just very, very generic, but done pretty solidly. But everything else, the writing, the acting, the animation, like the art design, the mocap, it was when you meet the blue lady and her daughter. Like, I remember just watching some of like the interactions between those characters and just sitting there and just being like, this is real people. Like this is like just watching a film. Yeah. Like it's.
Did you
wild.
ever get into the Mass Effect series, Sarah?
No.
Oh, basically this is the closest we've had. It probably in many ways, I think it's hard to compare because the Mass Effect games were longer and there was 3 of them.
Plus they were like serious sci-fi, right? Which Guardians is in some ways.
This had a bit of comedy in it, like the Mass Effect, but like nowhere near as much as the Guardians games. But this is so when I say this is the closest, I think probably Guardians is actually nails it better than Mass Effect. Like honestly, but I think it's the closest we've come to that Mass Effect feeling from those first 3 games, where you're so invested in the character that even animation makes like. When Mass Effect, when you walk around the ship, in the Normandy in Mass Effect, you will look at a character and go, "Oh my god, it's him! I need to go and talk to him. What's he doing there?" You know what I mean? And you get like a little bit of excitement to go and talk to that character. Oh my god, Garrus is standing in the Citadel. He's there. It's Garrus. Let me go and talk to him. You know what I mean? It was like such a huge thing, and I felt the same here, where you would pass like Rocket's room and look in, and he's not there, and you're like, I wonder where Rocket is, and then he's downstairs doing something, and you're like, well, I'm going to go and talk to Rocket and see what's going on. And then every time you do that, you're treated to an amazing bit of dialogue or backstory or whatever, which is also, again, if you've had that conversation, is referenced during like the next mission or whatever. It's so well done, so well handled, and it's a real sort of raising the bar of, hey, good writing can affect how you perceive a game, right? Because I do think it falls flat a little bit with the combat, especially towards the end of the game. But that doesn't matter because it's not really why you're playing it. You're playing it for the relationships, for the story, and because you love spending time with that team. They absolutely nail it. It's incredible, really.
And I think
and it's amazing how quickly they become the characters that you know, and you forget about the film.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
And like I said, like I prefer the Star-Lord in the games. I think the other 4 are very close to how they are in the films. I think it's only really Star-Lord that's actually quite different.
There's a few key differences. I won't spoil any. Well, it's not really spoilers. Okay. It's stuff that is sort of mentioned, like has happened previously, rather than like actual in-game events.
Like
but there
lore.
there are major differences to like the MCU stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's huge ones.
Yeah. I think
looking back on it. But I think Gamora is quite different. I think everyone else is quite similar.
But it definitely it keeps that thing of like, yes, there's a lot of jokes and stuff, but ultimately this is like like this little family that has bonded through, like, essentially, like they're all processing some sort of trauma of some sort, and that's why it really works and isn't just, you know, oh yeah, it's the funny one. Like there's real heart to it as well. It really works.
Yeah,
and I think like
I feel like as well we've probably made a load of like comic people really annoyed that we're just comparing it to the films and not the comics
maybe,
as well.
Yeah. And I've never been clear on whether or not the comics were even that popular before the film, like even among, you know, comics people. But yeah, just quickly, Dave, on like the Mass Effect comparison, like, you know, like when you first visit Nowhere, and it's like, oh yeah, this could be like the hub of like a sprawling RPG, and I'm glad it wasn't, because I think, you know, one of the things I liked about Guardians is that it's quite pacey, and you know, it has an end that you will probably almost definitely see without putting 60 hours in, but like the scope is there, like it's such a beautifully realized place, and it's just proper good.
I think they absolutely, that was the feeling I got while I was playing it, for sure.
And it's another game that you can play if you have the tier of PS Plus that lets you play it.
It's on, isn't it? It's also on Game Pass now.
Absolutely finish that, Sarah.
Oh yeah, I think
it's
it
been
is
on Game Pass for a while.
Well, like I said,
I've
100%ed and done everything there is to do in the Solstice. So that's running for another 3 weeks, and I've already done it all. So I'm going to finish straight, and then I'm going to go back to Guardians.
Was that a final question about Destiny 2? I promise. Was that a massive time investment to do that over a week or whatever, or
not a massive investment. It was a slightly late evening, a late evening, and then kind of an afternoon and late evening, and like a couple of lunch times. So yeah, you could quite easily do maybe half an hour to an hour most nights over the 3 weeks.
Right, yeah, and you probably do it. Okay.
And you'll probably do it all then.
Okay.
I just, was like, I'm going to do this all in as quickly as possible.
Fair dues.
Right, okay. I don't know whether I should talk about my game. I've
just seen what it is. I've played a bit of it.
You have?
Yeah.
Go on. I've been playing PowerWash Simulator. And this has
been around for a while, but it finally hit 1.0.
Yeah, everyone's been talking about it the last couple of weeks, haven't they?
Yeah,
right,
it's been out for
Game Pass,
months. Right? It's been in early access on Steam and stuff. So yeah, so it's finally finished and landed on Game Pass and on consoles and stuff. So
it's the work of the devil. It's the work of the absolute devil.
Yeah,
it's so much worse than I thought it was going to be when I started playing it. Yet so much more addictive. If I was to tell you about PowerWash Simulator, Matt, right? So there, obviously, you've got a power washer. You're going around places and cleaning stuff up, right? How long do you reckon a mission would be?
10, 15 minutes?
10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If I was to say that there could be up to 2 hours for a mission.
Oof, nice.
Cleaning every little piece of a playground is currently what I'm doing, Sean.
Yeah, I'm just on the garden.
The garden was, that took me about an hour and a quarter, maybe an hour actually.
You sound like a tradesman. I haven't got my steps, mate.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you sit there and you go, oh, why am I doing this? It's not even fun. I'm not even enjoying myself. I'm looking at this huge, horrible garden that's covered in shit. Someone's shit all over it, right? And you're sitting there with your little spray gun and you're spraying it piece by piece. It's not too dissimilar to cleaning your hallway with a toothbrush, right? You're going, okay, there are little things to make it a little bit easier, but they're not like... I remember, so I started the playground one, Sean, which is way bigger than the garden, right? And I remember thinking, nah, I've missed something here. I've bought bits. I've bought new parts for my pressure washer, right? I've toyed with, using cleaning agents and all this sort of stuff. I'm missing something here. So I went onto YouTube and went tips for PowerWash Simulator, right? And I watched the whole video and went, no, that's all the stuff that I've done. And he's like, yeah, and then you'll be able to reduce your time completing missions to, about an hour and a half, hour 3/4. I'm going, no, that's what brought me here, because I thought this can't be right. But here's what I do. I sit there, I clean a fence post, and it goes, ding, you clean that. And I go, that was stupid. Look how much more there is to do. Better start on the fence. It's the floor's a bit dirty there. I'll do that bit then, won't I? And then so I did the garden level you're talking about, Sean. Mm-hmm. And then I went, right, what's my next mission? Oh, there's a bike. That won't take me long. I'll do the bike. I cleaned the bike. It took me about 10 minutes. And then I went, oh, well, that's done now. Better do the massive playground. When I first played it, I sat down to play it for half an hour. I played it for nearly 2 hours. It's horrible. It's made by the devil. It's genuinely ridiculous. You sit there hating yourself the whole time, but by the end of it, you get a little dopamine hit of, oh, that looks clean now, doesn't it? That's it. That's the game.
What I've found interesting about this, like I say, I've only put an hour in, something like that. It's you can't overstate how thorough it asks you to be, right?
Yeah. Oh god.
If there's a fucking pixel of dirt left on something, it's not done. It's not finished.
It's a little bit more forgiving with that, but
true.
Not
Sorry,
forgiving
enough.
But, and not only that, guys, you could spray it down as much as you want. But unless you're using the right nozzle, it's not always going to work. If you stood a bit
too far away, which I'm I can say with some authority that is what it's actually like using a power washer. I have to, because unfortunately Mara does loads of wheeze in our yard at the back, and it fucking stinks. So every so often I have to just blast it down.
Have you got an actual power washer?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
doesn't know what you're playing this. So just go. Can you just go outside with the power washer?
Yeah, the yard stinks. What the fuck are you doing? And that is how it works. You initially oh man, I can make it go really wide, but then that means it's actually quite rubbish. You have to use a focused beam of it. All that stuff. I was this is as annoying as a real pressure washer. But
have you bought the extension things? That's the game changer.
No, I haven't bought any extensions.
Yeah, I bought the extenders because that's where it changes a little bit.
Yeah, fair
I invested in the soap dispenser nozzle and loads of soap thing, but that's not as good. Get the extension stuff first.
I kind of wish this wasn't a conversation about a video game, because it's the most dad conversation I've ever heard. Apart from the fact we're talking about a video game.
Well, this is it.
Do you see the irony of us kicking off about you talking about Destiny 2 and now we're talking about this? Do you see?
Yeah.
Real games.
Step aside, pressure washer time. It's weird because I know a lot of people find this genuinely therapeutic to play.
Yeah,
and
John's loving it.
Sort of get it. I do. I don't think I'm going to have the time to put into it just because of the nature. Obviously, the way we play things and having to play stuff for the show and stuff. I don't feel like I have much to say about this that will be interesting.
Doesn't matter. You'll play it for the rest of the week.
Fair enough.
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. You'll sit there and you'll go, I was in exactly the same place when I was in that garden. I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm done.
Yeah.
Because what's the fucking point? I've got stuff to do for the show. It's taken me an hour to do this fucking garden. There's no way I'm going to do. And then the next thing I know, I'm in a playground and I'm cleaning the monkey bars. It's ridiculous.
Do you know what it is? Because it always... I always say about Dynasty Warriors, right? And people are oh, but it's just none of the enemies do anything and you're just kind of wading through. And it's look at the map in the top right-hand corner. See how it's got all these red dots all over it? I'm just going to fucking sweep them all away and they'll all be, in about half an hour, they'll all be gone. It's this similar sense of I've cleaned it off. It's fine.
Charlie's obsessed with it.
Is he?
Yeah, he is proper. He's zoned out playing it. And in fact, actually, I don't know if you've had the same experience, Sean, but I play it for 45 minutes. I think I blinked 3 times while playing it. And when I finish, I'm like, eyes are dry as fuck.
Because you are actually concentrating loads. That's what I mean. I don't like. I do find it therapeutic, but I don't find it relaxing. Like it's quite intense, considering it, it's there is literally no pace to it other than what you set yourself.
Because it was made by the devil. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
You know who made this, don't you?
The devil, Satan. Yes,
it's the team that did Velocity 2X. So that's.
You're kidding me.
Future Lab.
No. I was going to say that's probably why John got into it, is it not? Because I know he was a huge fan.
I don't know. No, I think it's because our friend Jay was raving about it.
Fair enough. But yeah,
so
same
I think
team.
that's what started it.
But the I'll tell you what, I did really enjoy the sound design. Like the attention to detail, like depending on like what you're squirting at and the range you're at and the setting you've got the nozzle on. It's all like this. Honestly, like just have a play around with that.
Put the time and effort into.
It's incredible. Yeah. That's where the money's gone, mate. It's
I
well spent.
No, man. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. And I'm going to play it after this.
Cool.
And not in an ironic way, not in a I'll turn it on after this because it's made by the devil, and I will sit there for an hour tonight knowing that I'm losing out on precious sleep, and I'll be angry at myself. And I'll do it again tomorrow night. It reminds me of when we played Minecraft for the first time. That reminds me of that.
Oh yeah. Well, that was also incredibly satisfying, and that's what I see with this. I haven't played this one yet, but it looks like I can just.
It's horrible.
The satisfaction will be enough to carry me through.
It's an horrible game.
Because House Flipper recently landed on Game Pass as well.
Oh, see, that's the
PC only.
No, it's on Xbox as well.
Oh. Yeah, you guys talking about this and the whole zoning out and taking like an hour and a half to do is how I played House Flipper.
Yeah, man.
Like
it's weird, isn't it? Like I was talking to Cammy about it the other day, and he was like. Yeah, we put it on for the evening thinking, we'll play like an hour of this. Next thing we know, it's like you tick off all the objectives and then you're just like,
well, now you got to make it look
very nice, does it?
Yeah, now you got to make it look nice.
We can do more with this. We can make it really nice. Like,
and you're like agonising over the curtains and the sofas. Yeah. Well, and also with House Flipper is it's, getting to live out the fantasy of owning property that you can do what you want to. So
I mean, I'm sitting in a room with walls that have remained unpainted for about 6 months now. So
when do we address that in when do we address that in the James Farley sense, Sean?
Well, I've got an excuse in the one of the walls here has still got a big damp patch on it, and we've got roofers. We're getting the this is full on dad chat now. We're getting the roof fully redone. And I've basically just said, like, while you're up there, can you see if you can figure out why I'm still getting damp in this room? I think the answer is going to be that it's the neighbours' fault. And that's not a conversation I want to have, Dave.
Oh, right, okay. You just kick a hole in the wall then. Say what was the damp, isn't it your fault?
They are very old, so maybe if I just bide my time.
Kick their heads in then, instead of the wall.
Didn't mean that.
If you want.
Didn't mean that.
Oh, I thought you meant I could take them. They're very old, I can have them. I thought that's what you
was
were
thinking. One punch, they'll be gone.
That's true, yeah.
No, not from you, Matt. Done with that.
If you need that, though, Sean, let me know.
It does happen. Imagine if I tried to start on him and he's like this 80-year-old Ken next door beats the shit out of me.
Maybe if they're really that old, you don't need to do anything.
That's what I'm thinking.
The physical violence isn't needed. Could you just play ask James for tips on the psychological game? I don't know, keep
game. Wait, ask James because he's confrontational or because he's old?
Because you were saying he did psychological warfare against Jonathan Blow. He's clearly good at this stuff.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to next week's episode.
Can you not just make him think that the house is haunted or something, or that
maybe
they're starting to.
I mean, we do have in the attic. The party wall isn't properly fire stopped. You can see over into their attic, so I could just chuck some speakers and just
just go in and just move stuff around and hide things. So then they start to think that they got a touch of the
spooks.
I'll just go around and talk to them. Actually, Sean.
Yeah, don't get into a fight.
Matt. Yeah, I mean the idea of just going around and having a friendly chat with them down doesn't seem as daunting, really, in comparison to. Everything else we've just cooked up.
We have helped.
Yeah, we have. You have.
Where
that was our plan all along.
Where did we go?
PowerWash Simulator.
The House Flipper. Yeah, the House Flipper. I got that confused with there was that Rec game or something. That's the one that I want to play. That's the one I want to play on Xbox.
Rec game.
Yeah, you not heard about it?
As in the Spanish horror movie?
No, it's a game where I think you go to a house and you just basically demolish it. The whole idea is that you could drive tractors through it and stuff.
Oh, you're thinking of Teardown?
Teardown, that's it.
Yeah, that's PC.
That's the one I want to play. Yeah, that's PC only at the moment. At the moment, Sean.
PC gamers, mate, they get all the best games.
That's my PowerWash Simulator warning. Do not play that game. Matt, you've played the other big game that came out this past week as Dusk Falls.
I knew I was going to be last. Go on.
You've what? Oh shit! Yeah, sorry. I thought you. Yeah, sorry. My bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go on.
Well,
I do want to hear about
Sean.
as Dusk Falls. So go for it.
I'll be quick because I've only played the first book. So this is an interactive thriller. A little bit like a kind of a Life is Strange kind of game, but there's less gameplay in this one actually. This is from Interior Night, and you may have seen this. This has got the painterly style kind of graphics. I mean, they're based on real actors, but they're painted over. But crucially, it's how it's kind of animated. It's not stop motion, but you would see kind of a frame of animation, and then you'll see the next one 10 frames later. So you're never seeing a smooth animation between people moving in a scene. They just move, as and when. It's quite hard to describe that style. I've never really seen anything else like it.
It's like there's just certain key frames, but they're really far apart, isn't it? There'll be one frame for a certain gesture or whatever. I'm just going off what I've seen in trailers and stuff, obviously, but yeah.
I think when we saw the initial trailers, we were sort of questioning whether the game would actually look like that. I don't like that art style at all. It just looks really jarring and horrible to me.
Yeah, I saw the trailer and was like, oh no, thank you.
At first I thought it would be jarring, but actually you very quickly kind of, your brain kind of fills in the gaps in between frames of animation, and it works really, really well. And actually they can convey emotion in just one frame of animation really, really well. So the story there are 6 chapters or 6 books, each lasting about an hour each. I've only done the first one. So far, it appears it's basically about 2 families and how their lives are kind of interwoven. At the start, you are following husband and wife. There's a little bit of they're having a bit of a domestic in the car. In the back, they've got a daughter and I think the guy's dad, and driving along the freeway. Something happens. There's a small car accident, and then you see another family, it's it's 3 brothers, and they're trying to break into a house, and it's basically, again, at least his first book is how the relationship between them 2 people cross paths basically. It's definitely much more kind of an adult thriller story than a game like Life is Strange and those kinds of things. There's tension from the off, and you can tell instantly that the themes of the story and tone in which they're delivering it feels way more kind of gritty and adult than kind of the more fantastical stories of Life is Strange. And yeah, so far, just in the first hour, it's been incredibly tense. That there's a bit where the family and these brothers who have broken into a house meet up, and there's this incredibly tense moment in this in this hotel, in this motel, whatever, and then that's basically how the first book ends. But for the last 20 minutes, I was kind of on the edge of my seat already, and this is literally the first 40 minutes into this game. Gameplay wise, like I said, there's less gameplay than a Life is Strange, so you don't actually physically explore an environment, whereas in Life is Strange you might have moments in between the kind of quick time events and story bits. You would explore environments and kind of comb for clues and whatnot. Here, the closest you'll get is that it will kind of you'll go into an environment, or the cutscene will take you into an environment, and then you have a cursor to look around, say a room, and you can pick up clues or look behind things and whatnot. So that's basically about as far as it goes gameplay wise, because all the rest of the game is basically you're playing a cutscene. Every 20 to 30 seconds or so, there will be a QTE. That could be pressing a face button or moving one of the sticks to do a certain thing. Again, the same kind of classic kind of QTs we've seen in other games whereby there might be. So at this bit at the beginning of the game where you're in the car, you have a car, a car accident happens on the freeway, and there are very quick kind of QTs where you can like move the stick left or right to kind of stop the car from rolling or hitting something else, for instance. Those are really good and done really well. Like you feel, even them very early ones, you feel like you've got to hit the button really, really quickly in order to not fail. And I haven't failed yet, so maybe they're just that they've done it perfectly to always make you feel like you're on the edge of these QTE kind of moments. But so far, in the first hour at least, I haven't failed one. But again, like I said, already, like even with this weird animation style where you see one frame and don't see anything until the character's already moved a bit, there's already fantastic bits of emotion just kind of shown in one frame of animation, more than a lot of other games can manage using full fluid animation. There's also what this enables them is that there's no lip syncing, so there's no uncanny valley, there's no stuff where it looks almost good enough but it can really take you out of the moment. I feel like what they've done is, because they've kind of taken a step back and used this quite unique graphical and animation style, that actually for me, I like I said, I almost forgot about the fact that I was missing frames and just accepted it for what it was. And yeah, so far at least, really, really good. I've seen people comparing this to like an AMC drama, or I'm not quite Breaking Bad, but like a much more adult drama, like say a HBO or whatever. And so far at least, there's been tension in a lot of these scenes, and I'm very excited about how these two families are going to work together, or not work together, how their lives are going to interweave with one another. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to play more.
Cool. I'm interested to see if that stuff happens for me, because I see what you're saying. Yeah, in a way, we've said this before, by like I don't know, lowering the realism slightly means that you're not getting pulled away from things, and actually your imagination can take over. Like it's that fascinating stuff. I don't know if you've seen the work people are doing on Grand Theft Auto at the moment, where actually if you down-res things a little bit and add a filter in that really it looks way more realistic, because it's more mimicking the sort of dash cam footage we've seen than...
Yeah, it's like really flat lighting, like compression artifacts and stuff, and it's like, oh shit, it looks real. But as you say, it's mimicking the way we see footage of real life events. Which obviously
is not what's going on here, but I fully see what you're saying, Matt, about, say, with Life is Strange, sometimes, when an animation goes wrong, especially when it's like quite a pivotal scene, and your character is sort of just like walking into a wall for a little bit and then turning around on a spot and then like on it as a attack, and that's got to take you out of it at some point. So if you remove that stuff and do it this way, then maybe that improves it. But
they're kind of painted over like actors. It feels much more real, even though he's got this weird animation style. Another thing is, at the end of at least the first episode, there's like, you see all the branching paths, there's much more detail. There's like a key to this map and everything about whether it kind of, if someone could have died there, or this could have happened, percentages, whether it kind of would have stopped the story. It feels like there are absolutely tons of things that can change, and one time decision, or kind of if you muck up a QT now or you change the decision now, that's going to affect the story 5-6 hours down the line. I think I think the studio, they're like former Quantic Dream devs, and you can kind of tell they've got a lot of experience in this. But what's really good as well, I haven't done this yet, but it's got loads of really clever multiplayer functionality as well, whereby you can play up to 8 players in the same room using either controllers or phones as touch screens. Cool. You can also employ loads of cool Twitch stuff, whereby you can connect your Twitch account to the game or add a code, whatever it is, and then your Twitch chat can control the decisions. So every time there's a QTE or a choice in the story, the chat can vote, and it will show like their Twitch name and whatnot, so you can see who's doing what. The person playing the game, they can override I think 2 or 3 decisions, maybe per episode. They can override a few at least anyway. But I think that stuff looks really, really cool. I've heard some people say this is much better as a multiplayer experience than it is just to play on your own. But I want to experience it on my own because I want to kind of see what my version of the story would be. But I really appreciate the fact they are doing these cool multiplayer things. And I think if you want like a cool multiplayer or streaming experience, I think this could be really, really clever as well.
Yeah, like, I really like the idea of just doing my own playthrough and then doing it again on Twitch and just going, right, there you go, everyone have at it. And presumably everyone will make loads of really terrible decisions, but it'll just, to sort of watch that play out, like with, the chat feeling like they're sort of interacting with it and just me having no investment in it and just seeing things go wrong, I think would be really fun. But
yeah, I'm already looking forward to that. I mean, even in the first episode, I know I've kind of flip-flopped on like how I've tried to play the character already. So I'm dreading what kind of character the person I'm playing is going to turn into.
We know you're notoriously horrendous when it comes to playing characters in these starter games, right?
At one point, I was like, okay, no, you're going to be strong and you're going to do this. And next time, actually, no, you probably should change that because your daughter could see that and that you can't be that kind of dad. And it's really great. It's really great because the father, so the couple of which, like the husband, his dad's there, but also his daughter's there. So he's trying to kind of play, the different types of people depending on who he's with in the scene, I think, or at least that's how I'm trying to play it.
And isn't that
really,
a
really
little
good
bit
so far?
like real life?
Exactly. But yeah, I love the art style. I'm really digging the story so far as well.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Well, I'll be playing that next week, I think.
Should I, off the top of your head, should I play that first or Stray?
Stray, haven't you?
Yes. I mean, well, Stray's about 5 hours. This is about 6 hours. So.
Okay.
Here's the thing, Sean. I think you want to play this before Stray because you've already asked us that question.
I asked him what's up, didn't I? Sorry, I forgot.
No, it was when we were playing Walkabout Mini Golf.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
You said, and we said, "Oh yeah, play Stray." And you went, "All right," and then now it sounds like, "Oh, I'm not quite happy with that answer."
In terms of
ask again until I get the answer I want.
In terms of show discussion, I mean, next week I think, definitely me and James, possibly David as well, would have finished this. So
yeah, good point.
If you want to be involved in that conversation, then maybe play this first, or you can probably get both done practically because it's only 11 hours again playing both of these.
All right, how much get over it? What are you just eating into his time? Yeah. Poor sod.
Well, to be fair, we've got no Patreon stuff to do this week,
so Solstice stuff.
That's true.
All right, Sean,
is it me?
What games? Someone else, is it?
We're getting on for time, so I will be fairly brief. So I've been playing Into the Breach, which originally came out 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah, I've heard about this for a while.
Yeah, but has found a new lease of life for 2 reasons. One, they put out a free update for it that has a shitload of stuff. And 2, it's now part of your Netflix subscription if you're that way inclined, and you can play it on your telephone, which is what I've been doing. So I originally had this on Switch back in the day. I found it too hard. Like, I could not get my head around it. In hindsight, obviously I'm now realising that was Isaac Year 1. So brain wasn't doing so good at the time. Because, I'm playing it again now and absolutely adoring it. Cool. As everyone told me I should. It's, for those who haven't played it, basically the hook is it's a turn-based strategy game, like tile-based, and you're taking it in turns, and you've got some big robots or like artillery cannons or whatever, and there's like giant bug monsters trying to destroy. There'll be like civilian buildings and factories and stuff that you have to protect, and it's all about the fact that like you have this sort of really limited sort of time travel technology, right? So it's a roguelike in that you play a game, and then when you lose, they kind of go right back in the time portal, back to the start, let's try again. But also, it's like you're always outnumbered, and like the enemies are always more powerful than you. There's more of them. Like, you can never really like kill them all. But the way it works is they all, like, every turn they all move into position, and then you see what action they are going to take. And then you're like, right, how do I manage this so that no civilians get killed, ideally so that my robots also don't get hit? And it's all about managing it so like all different attacks, will damage enemies, but will also move them around. And there are, tricks you can do, like making enemies bash into each other for extra damage. You'll see where like an enemy is about to burst out of the ground on the following turn. So if you can move an enemy on top of that spot, it will prevent them coming up, and they will take damage. Just all these things that sort of add up. So that every turn you can, like on a single turn, you've only got 3 units to move around, right? And you can spend like 10, 20 minutes on a single turn sometimes, like because you just like micromanaging everything to like the tiniest degree just to get it as perfect as possible. And yeah, I'm really glad I'm now enjoying it as much as everyone said I should 4 years ago. And yeah, as I say, if you've got Netflix, play it on your phone, which is just a brilliant way to play it as well. Like it was great having it on Switch because it's because of the type of game it is. Obviously, it's not very graphically intensive. It's really nice pixel art, and it was nice having it on a portable console. But it's just even better on phone. I'm
quite looking for. I don't know if you've seen the news about them releasing Papers, Please on phone.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I never got to play it more than the demo. That demo that came out before. Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh mate, that's a way better way of playing that game. So I think
I never played that game properly either. So I'm well into that.
Yeah, I think I've got it on my Steam account, but I've just never actually got around to playing it. So as soon as it comes out on phones, I'm gonna play it a ton.
Yeah, totally.
I was going to say, I really hope that this is the turnaround for phone game. How many times have we said that? I got a free trial of Apple Arcade again. So bad. Yeah, there's so much shit on there.
It's awful.
One of them is just here's Freeze, and it's called Freeze Plus, and I was like, new version of Freeze? Nah, it's just
it's a classic version of Freeze, but it's got some stuff I can't remember what.
No, it's got nothing.
There's a bunch of the Plus games, which are basically old games they brought back, and they're called something Plus.
It's because that they need to be able to put them on Apple Arcade. I think that's the only reason.
Yeah, it's literally just with.
They just take all the microtransactions out.
Yep.
That's what it is.
So what happened?
Because I know you were asking for recommendations, and I was
that's right.
Recent ones. I mean, definitely South of the Circle. I think you'll really like that.
Okay.
That was 2 years ago, but I know it's been a long time.
That's fine.
Also, recently, get Air Twister. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just get it.
All right.
See what you think.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
I mean, there will be
Air
others.
Twister and South of the Circle.
Your turn.
Air Twister and South of the Circle.
Yeah. There will be others, but I just off the top of my head,
I sat there and I thought, I'm sick of playing this Wordscapes game, which is a free to play thing.
Oh, yeah,
and I thought, how much is it to get rid of the adverts? It's £5. They're bound to have some word games in Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
So I signed up for the thing. I got that word tower thing. I thought, I hate this. I hate it. So I just downloaded Wordscapes again and then paid for the fucking no ads. But I will check these out. Okay.
Cool. Dave, please play Pro Darts 2022 Plus, because I played that thinking, here we go, a darts game on mobile. I'm well into this, and it never felt good to me. I wanted to get into it so badly, but it never felt good enough. But please,
they
play
got a bowling game as well. I tried that, and it was dung.
Which one did you play? Which bowling games is a bunch?
It was like whatever the one that they're pushing on there.
Is it like My Bowling 3D Plus?
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's like a real. It's like a real bad name for a bowling game. And I tried it, and I was like, I never want to play an Apple Arcade game ever again.
Just play Fantasian.
What's that?
It's like a mini Final Fantasy.
No, you're right. I don't like games like that, do I?
I was going to say, Dave loves that stuff.
Maybe you will do.
I won't though, Matt, because I've played several turn-based stuff, and I hate it every time.
And also, I obviously love those games, and I've had Fantasian downloaded and installed on my phone for probably about 6 months now. I've not played it. I don't even think I've opened the app. It's just there.
Well, then you can't.
But LinkedIn,
you should play
it. LinkedIn.
It's good.
Oh no, I check LinkedIn far more often than I should, and then regret it every time I'm on there.
Yeah, I've never. It's such a little grass LinkedIn. Oh, they've been looking at your profile. Yeah. Shut up, grassing them up. Yeah. Let them look at my profile then. Just narc.
Yeah. LinkedIn is absolutely horrendous social network, and yet I'm on it every day.
Yeah,
it really is. You're on it every day.
Yeah, well, Work stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, work stuff.
Thanks. Thanks. Why I said that 3 times?
Thanks.
Sean.
The other game I've been playing is Forza Horizon 5 because the Hot Wheels DLC is out.
Yes,
I might
it is.
get this week.
It's very good. It's very good fun.
Is it though? Because I've got questions.
It is big orange tracks looping around. It definitely feels less open world than the main game because you do spend a lot of time on these sort of pre-built tracks. But the way it's done is just so daft that I just really admire it. So basically, it's in the sky, right? There's just these 3 big floating islands in the sky, and one's like all snowy, one's a jungle, and one's a desert, I think. And then they're sort of interconnected with all these mad Hot Wheels tracks. And it's, so like if your thing in Forza is just going off road and smashing through loads of cactuses and rocks and God knows what else.
Yeah, boy.
That's gone effectively in this. Like you are mostly sticking to the tracks. There are little off-road bits and they're very good. But they are, few and far between, relatively speaking. But it's just the sheer complexity and weirdness of the sort of pre-built Hot Wheels track makes it worth it, I think. There aren't
many. Did you play the last one?
I did play the last one, but it was a long time ago, so I don't remember much of it. This definitely seems like way more dense and interesting than that did, I would say. And plus, it's got like the magnetic tracks. It's got like flume sections. So there's like these really good, like it's really fun to just sort of set your car at like.
Bloody love a flume.
Bloody love a flume, mate. Stick your car at like the top of this one track and then just like bomb it down all these like flume sections. There's like ice bits, stuff like that. There aren't loads of cars. There's like, I think there's like, is it 16 cars? And like 4 of them are different versions of fucking Bone Shaker, which is it's a classic. I hate it. But like,
because it's popular.
No, I just hate the look of it. It's just like,
right.
I don't know, I just think it looks...
Skeletons and that.
Stupid box on wheels. So there's not like loads of cars. So like, obviously, I've praised Hot Wheels Unleashed a lot in the past. Like, if you are like a Hot Wheels obsessive, you're probably still better served with Hot Wheels Unleashed. Like, because if you want to collect the cars, because there's like fucking tons of them in that game. Whereas here, as I say, I think there's only about 16 of them. But it is there's a whole like series of missions where you just get like you do a race and you just get a little lecture about like the history of Hot Wheels and like how it came about and stuff, and it's just it's actually quite interesting. I've only played like a couple of hours of it, but I'm properly enjoying it.
Sounds like they've been learning from Gran Turismo there.
I was going to ask, is that intro, is that history of Hot Wheels as exciting as a history of motor vehicles?
Titanic.
I was going to say they haven't mentioned when the Titanic sunk yet, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah, I had 2 problems with the Hot Wheels DLC before, which I still really, really enjoyed. Let's not, it wasn't bad at all. But the last Hot Wheels DLC, 2 problems I had. First, that I was stuck on the tracks for too much, but it sounds like it's still got that.
Yeah.
The second was they just let you pick normal cars as well, and I thought, actually, it's quite. Wouldn't it be wicked if it just strips away your whole garage just for this area, and you get that feeling of progression again? I wish they did DLC like that, because I adore the Lego stuff they did in the last Forza. And I wish that they did that for that as well, where you can only drive Lego cars in that Lego world. And I'm sure that'd upset people, probably. Why can't I drive my really expensive car that I really like? But I also, because, what was it? Do you remember when they did the Fast and Furious DLC? I think this was for Horizon 2.
Oh, no, I wasn't
they
playing.
They just treated it as a completely separate thing. This is a separate game. You're going to have to build your garage up again.
Okay.
I like that from a DLC, really.
Yeah, because, you are doing that. Like, you start off with one Hot Wheels car and then you earn the rest. But then, as you say, like, you do the first races in a Hot Wheels car and be like, right, well, I'm just going to go back to my favourite car now. It's interesting. There are a lot of cars you can't use in Hot Wheels land. but
right.
but I don't know if that's like a design decision or a weird licensing thing.
Okay.
Like maybe
they're too heavy for the orange tracks.
It's possible, yeah. Because there's
But then you can change the little plastic and the blue bits.
Yeah.
They're so like customizable. Like you can change so much about the cars, but then maybe there's just some. It just made sense to just rule them out entirely.
Yeah, go right through that plastic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I that's how I want my DLC in those games, and then maybe at the end of the DLC it goes, "Well done, we've managed to ship your garage over to this island now." Like do that. That's fine, but let me build up. Like let me have some progression for it. But yeah, it's going to be hard to beat that Lego stuff because that Lego DLC was so perfect. It was so good.
It was, and still felt like an open world, even though it was smaller, but it was really cool.
Yeah, which they used to an advantage as well, actually.
Yeah.
Of all the stuff where we were predicting what they were going to do with the DLC, right? I can't believe we didn't suggest RC cars. Like the idea of playing a Forza in in a Honey I Shrunk the Kids setting. Do you know what I mean?
I see what you mean. So it'd still be in like a house or it'd be
like in a forest. You're going through a forest, but like you're jumping over leaves and stuff.
Yeah, I think the thing that would hold that back is that I don't think there are enough like well-known brands of RC cars, right? That enough.
Oh yeah, but they wouldn't need to, would it? The hook is that you're little in a massive world.
I guess, but all the cars are licensed, aren't they? So
take the regular cars and like stick a little aerial on the back of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And make them look a little plasticky. So you're driving like RC versions of the cars in the game.
Yeah, and I'd absolutely love to see how they try and justify it in the story around these Horizon games, where they go, "Hello, we found a shrinking machine now. Step inside."
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Like the Hot Wheels DLC starts by just going like, "Oh yeah, we've added this, and to get to it, there's just a road that just goes up into the sky, and you drive up."
So, I love that stuff.
But yeah, I mean, bear in mind, like obviously, most of us already have, like, you already own this because we all got that, that DLC pack that gave us early access to the game, and it was like heavily discounted before launch. So yeah, like I think a lot of people listening to this may not realise that they own this. Yeah, definitely worth a look.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it because it's Forza. Cool. But
you don't need to buy it. I think Sean just said you probably got it.
No, I haven't, though, Matt. Otherwise, I would have acknowledged that and said, "Yeah, I've got it." No, I didn't buy that pack thing.
Oh, sounds like someone's a loser.
No, I'm all right. I'm happy with that. I usually only buy one DLC from the Forza games.
This is interesting, right? Because they normally do like the serious one first and then the toy one, don't they?
Right.
So I'm intrigued as to what's next.
RC cars.
I still want to do monster truck. Do more monster truck stuff. The game has got some monster truck in it.
I want to go smaller. I don't know if you've noticed the irony. Are we done?
Yes, shall we do some
Fucking hell, man. We've got questions. It's 2 hours 20.
This always happens when I'm on.
It always happens when any of us are on, I think. We just talk too much. We've got diarrhea of the mouth. Let's go.
Fletcher Armour says, "Hey fellas, love the show. Really looking forward to listening to Marvel Calls. The fantastic band Clutch have recently released the artwork to their forthcoming 13th album, Sunset on Slaughter Beach, which has really heavy Sable game vibes. It's so good. I'm planning on framing the vinyl cover and hanging it on my wall. So my question to you is, what is your favourite album cover artwork? Something so good that you consider hanging it on your walls." That's not really a video game question, is it?
It isn't, but it's still a good question.
Having just read that out.
There are loads, man.
Yeah, the first one comes out. I'm not sure it's too good, but I remember loving the Vines Highly Evolved. I remember loving that cover.
I don't remember it.
I've just googled it. Boy, doesn't look as good as I remember.
I love Think Tank Blur. That album cover is absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Look that up. That's a good one. I also love I'm a bit of a sucker for the classics. I'm just trying to think some more, because obviously my favourite band of all time are Queens of the Stone Age. Their album covers are rubbish. They're rubbish. It's really frustrating. Like, yeah, Pervasive R's fine or whatever, but it's still rubbish. Like, what was it? The Villains one. They got an artist to come in and do this thing, and it's a devil with his hands over Josh Homme's eyes, but the eyes are seen through the devil's hands.
What?
Awful.
No way.
Awful. It's
I feel like
so
I should
bad.
have like a bunch of Radiohead ones to pull out here, but actually, not really a great track record for album covers. I mean, Hail to the Thief, really nice artwork, but I mean, have you ever seen the cover art for King of Limbs? It's a fucking joke. It's awful. It looks like someone's GCSE art project. It's absolutely terrible.
King of Limbs, that was one of the ones you can buy on the website and pay what you want, right?
No, that was in Rainbows. I think King of Limbs was a proper release. I don't know. I mean, maybe
I thought that because I think I remember buying it on the website for a $5 or whatever it was.
And King of Limbs also isn't very good. I would argue.
Curious, Sarah, what have you got?
Well, so I've already done this. Like, so when I was 14, 15, my mum decided to let me decorate my bedroom myself.
Nice.
And I themed the entire room around the Razorblade Romance album artwork from the band Him, which is basically the singer. He's not topless because he's got like a jacket on, but like the jacket's open and he's got a cigarette and this eyeliner, and then the rest of it is pink. He's like in front of this like pink background. So the whole room was pink and black, and I spray painted like heartograms and razor blades like on the walls, and then I managed to get from HMV a massive poster of the album artwork, and I had that on my wall.
Nice,
cool.
If we're talking about now, my first thought instantly went to like an Iron Maiden album cover, but that's a bit overdone. Yeah. So to try and desperately get some like cool points back, probably any of the Baroness album covers, because the singer of Baroness, John Baisley, he does all of their album artwork, and it's stunning, like so beautiful. Apart from Yellow and Green, I think whichever one had the weird bird on the front of it wasn't quite so great, but. Yeah, pretty much the majority of his album artworks are just absolutely beautiful. And yeah, you could quite easily get like huge prints of those, and they're so good.
I was going to say sort of similar reasons. So the band Covet, like pretty much any of their album art I would have on the wall, and that is the guitarist Yvette Young, who is like probably my favourite guitarist in the world, can also sing, can also play piano, writes everything, and also does all of their artwork. She's absolutely unreal. Like her stuff's incredible.
Oh shit, Demon Days Gorillas, that is a classic.
It is a classic.
What a classic cover that is.
It is.
I fucking love that cover. Yeah, okay, we're probably done with that now. We're just naming bands, aren't we?
Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS committed podcasters, to get back to serious matters after last week's heat-induced zaniness, here's a question for you. What are shy guys so shy about? I've wondered for years what these denizens of the Mushroom Kingdom have to hide."
I don't think they're hiding anything. I just think they've got social anxiety real bad.
I mean, that is
seen behind the mask.
I don't think we ever have. No, I don't think that's ever been.
I think we have. Haven't we? Don't their masks fall off in 2? In Super?
Yeah, but don't they put their hands over their face so you still can't see their face?
Oh, really?
Without
am I imagining that?
Oh no! Don't Google it. Fucking hell! Oh, don't Google it.
Is there
there's a horrific image there.
Right. Yeah.
No, fuck that. Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, I'm not sleeping now tonight. Might as well play PowerWash
2. Next week, he's going to be like, do you know what, that PowerWash, I was really harsh about it last week, but do you know what? You can't have nightmares while you're playing it.
No. So it's all I've played.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Since we've stopped recording.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I they're bad guys, aren't they? Shy guys?
Yeah.
But not
they
like...
They are bad guys, though, right?
Technically...
I mean, they are villains, but there's literally no clue as to what their motive is or why they're bad guys. They're just
Maybe they're just bad guys with a conscience. That's what it is.
Maybe
They're sitting there going,
they're ashamed of their deeds.
yeah, they're ashamed of what they've been up to.
Yeah.
Just going, they're too socially anxious to tell Bowser that they don't want to hang about with him anymore, so they just have to keep going with it.
Yeah,
they
just keep doing it.
Yeah.
But see, I'm
And then
not
they
even
get
sure
thumped by
they're like.
Mario.
Do they have any sort of allegiance with Bowser? I don't know if they do.
Yeah, the mates, they sort of knew each
they're
other
a separate faction.
in like the first job that they had when he come out of college. And he's moved on with his life.
Yep.
Shy guy.
Yep.
But every now and then they bump into each other and he's got to acknowledge them. They're still friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
He hasn't got the balls to just unfriend them. So every now and then he just like gives a little like to one of Bowser's posts. Right-wing bar posts.
If
and he's
anything,
shy about that. He hates himself for doing that.
don't
But,
know.
you know, what can he do?
Isn't Bowser always trying to like take down the monarchy of the Mushroom Kingdom? So would that make him maybe a bit more of a lefty?
Isn't he trying to
Bit more of
install
like a
himself
left-
as Parliament? Isn't he trying to become king by marrying Peach, though? I think he's
Oh,
trying to
I
install
dunno.
himself as the
It's a
monarch.
solid
I
plan.
thought-
Yeah, he
I
calls
always-
himself King Bowser, so
Yeah.
he's well up the monarchy. He loves it.
he
Okay,
loves
yeah,
it.
never mind. I take it all back then.
Yeah, no, he's scum. He's scum.
I
We'll be
think-
voting him out once he's in charge.
I think Shy Guy's got drunk one night and he's like really conscious about it. He wonders if he's embarrassed himself or not, but he never did. But he's like, I'm just going to put the mask
And
on.
he's
and then-
woken up, he's got them dark circles under his eyes, and he's like, do you know what? I don't want anyone to see this. Mask
Matt.
on.
When you're thinking of Shy Guy going through that story you just said, was this after 5 hours of Laser Quest and a live show?
And then go into one of Sheffield's premier
bars.
clubs and
No, I didn't feel so bad after that in the morning, actually.
having a little boogie to
Nothing wrong with a little boogie.
some Eye of the Tiger, whatever. Well, I don't know.
You
What.
danced to Eye of the
The music could have been
Tiger
better.
twice in a weekend. That's quite
What
incredible.
are the odds?
What are the odds? Right, are we done?
Sounds like we are, yeah.
I mean, it is 2.5 hours.
It is
Let's
2.5
wrap this
hours.
bad boy up.
Sorry, everyone who sent questions in, but we're tired.
Okay, Matt, socials.
Yes, so Sean, are you streaming on Thursday?
Yes, I'm finally going to get back on the old Sea of Friends horse boat. I don't know who's going to be on it, though, sorry.
Fantastic. So that's See a Friend. That's Thursday night, twitch.tv/TCGS code. There's going to be no James Farley streaming Friday because he's busy. But David, you might be streaming Road 96 at some point, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I'll end up fucking washing a car or something. I don't know.
Well, it's also England playing
we'll
tomorrow.
see.
So
England are playing tomorrow, yeah. So I won't be doing that. Hopefully, is what I'm going to say.
Maybe
'Cause
some
we've
Road
also got
96.
what we're doing on Wednesday. You've announced that yet?
Thursday.
Was that Thursday?
The Annapurna thing.
Oh, was that Thursday?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I might be
I
around
think
then.
you told me it was Wednesday, Matt.
Yeah, I thought it was Wednesday.
Right.
Well, we should talk about that. So, Hound, so if it's Thursday, what are we doing now about the stream?
Well, it's 8 p.m, so I was thinking we just do that. I don't imagine it's going to be an hour. So I was assuming we do that for like whatever it is, half an hour, and then cut the stream, and then I'll come back with See Your Friends at 9.
Let's say what that is. Let's not.
Sorry,
let
yeah,
me guess.
Annapurna are doing a showcase.
Ooh.
And we have no idea what to expect from it. Might be pretty run of the mill. Might be super interesting. So
Talks over time.
yeah, mate.
Okay.
Yeah, so that starts Thursday. I thought it was Wednesday. Thursday 8, so we'll be live from 10 to 8 on Thursday to talk over the Annapurna interactive showcase. And then later that night, 9 o'clock, Sean will be around for some Sea of Friends. They're on twitch.tv/TCGS. If you miss them live, go over to YouTube, search TCGS, and you can watch the VODs after the fact. If you have Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime Gaming, connect your accounts, you get 1 free sub a month. Why not go over to our channel, maybe when we're streaming, maybe when we're doing next week's podcast, and give us a free monthly sub. We really, really mega appreciate it. Patreon, as David mentioned at the beginning, we've refreshed it slightly. The £4.50 tier now not just gets the bonus show audio, but now gets Marvel calls a week early. Right now, right now, people at that tier are listening to the Iron Man episode, and this Friday they will listen to the Incredible Hulk episode of Marvel Calls. The tier above that, you now get to watch the bonus show on video, live, and also the VOD after that. So go to patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support what we're doing. There's some other tiers, of course, for now, or lower ones, of course. and they're over there. The website is tcgs.co for links to our gorgeous Discord, merch on the store, socials, etc. Oh, actually, speaking of merch on the store, someone did ask on Discord, and I apologise, I didn't go back and look at your name about TCGSCon merch. It's still on the website, but I'm probably going to take it off on the 1st of August. So you got until the 1st of August if you still want to buy any TCGSCon 2022 merch. I'm going to take off the site after that. So you got until the 1st of August, which is, I don't know, later the week, I think. And that's it.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks so much. We hope you can join us live on Twitch next week, Monday, from about 8:30. Twitch.tv/TCGSCo. We're going to be going live with this. Not forever, maybe forever, but maybe not. I'm reserving the right to turn around and go, fuck this at some point.
There's definitely, there are going to be weeks. I think there's at least going to be weeks where like one of us is just like, look, I'll do it, but I'm not putting my camera on.
Or it'll be the next time we have a heat wave. And
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to break terms of service.
You don't fancy getting banned off of Twitch.
No. It wouldn't even be that. No one needs to see that. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think they ban us, they promote us.
Yeah, they probably. Front page, best show we've ever done.
Yeah, they all know that.
I'll shave me chest.
Swimming pool out on it. All right, we will catch you next week. Thank you so much for living it. Goodbye, everybody.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye.
Bye.